go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Oh, a very good morning to you. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3. And thank you for choosing us to spend your morning with. We're going to be keeping you entertained between now and 9 o'clock. And today is Tuesday, so we are putting the spotlight on our health. And today we're bringing you awareness on World Health Day with the CEO of the Heart and Stroke Foundation of South Africa, Professor Pamela Naidoo. She's going to shed some light and some of her knowledge because this year's theme is My Health, My Right. And we discuss how to ensure fair access to health resources in South Africa, a very important topic today. And then if you are a runner, you are probably super excited as we all build up to the Two Oceans Marathon happening this coming Saturday, where runners will take on the 56-kilometer ultra marathon and the 21-kilometer half marathon that's held annually in Cape Town after the Easter weekend. We will make sure you know what to expect on the day, how to train, well, you should have trained by now, and how to build endurance for the long run. We've got you covered on all of that. And then we need some entertainment on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This morning's musician is Miss Gabs. She's going to be in Johannesburg with Zanele, and we cannot wait to find out what she's all about and, of course, the music she's bringing for us. So we are super excited for that. Well, I promised you loads of entertainment between now and 9 o'clock, but I'm not alone. Zanele is in Johannesburg, and Graham is waiting for your help to pick an outfit.
Yep, I had a bit of a false start this morning. Morning, guys. I got dressed, but now I need to get dressed again, and I need a little bit of help. And I'm hoping that you're going to be fresh and on it this morning to help me choose between two beautiful looks, obviously inspired by the change of season. Temperatures have dropped dramatically over the last couple of days, so we need a layer up, and boy, aren't the layers looking good. So I'm going to take you through two options that I please need your help to decide between, and I'm hoping you're going to be on the money. I'd be quite happy with both of them, but let's start here on your right-hand side. We've got this beautiful grey quarter-zip pullover, absolutely stunning. Love that ribbing on the knit, and that's paired with a pair of chinos. And then we've got the statement double-breasted pea coat. I think Chad from yesterday's show would be really impressed with that. Absolutely love the colour combination there and how it's laid out. And then on the other side, we've got a beige polo neck styled with a Milton funnel coat and a pair of chocolate corduroy trousers. Beautiful combination of colours. I'm guessing I would probably rock maybe a pair of Chelsea boots with both of these looks. Maybe a sneaker could go, but I like them both. The choice is up to you. So let's get all a little dressed up and head on over to the Expresso social media pages to vote for your favorite contemporary layered look today, and make sure that I don't freeze my way through the rest of this Choosing Tuesday. And don't forget to include that all-important hashtag styled by Woolies. I'd be happy with both looks, so just go wild. Which one do you think would be the better look to rock today as we layer up?
Big love is in the tiny details. Every second, every look, every stitch. The details make the difference.
Oh, Graham, those chinos are speaking to me, baby. I think that looks so beautiful on you. I mean, either one would. However, that is my vote for this morning. Hello to you, Mzansi. I hope you're feeling so good on this Tuesday morning. As the beautiful Zoe said, thank you for choosing us as your family. We're coming to you live from the Samsung showroom in Design Quarter in Johannesburg. And this morning, can you imagine? That was just like a taster of what is on the way. There's still a whole lot more in store. However, you know, here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, we always want to get you on the social media streets as well. So let's get to it. What is your good morning post? So this morning, we are having a little bit of a serious conversation, but you know we always like to get into those because the important conversations need to be had. We want to know from you, hashtag Expresso Show, as well as with those voice notes, 063-408-8863. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone who is struggling with mental health? If yes, let us know how you navigated it. What happened? If you're there right now as well, we're going to be diving into it as an Expresso family, and we want to hear from you, all in the name of having this conversation together. While we get into it and while you go out onto the social media streets and answer that, we always need to take care of business, and that is why this morning the beautiful Zoe is standing by with your news headlines.
Thank you, Zanele. Well, let's start off with your local news, starting with the Department of Employment and Labour wishes to create some 700,000 jobs through its unemployment insurance fund. The government has made 23 billion rand available for the National Job Creation Programme. 8.4 billion has been budgeted for Gauteng alone to start more than 100 labour activation programs in 22 sectors. This includes industries such as agriculture, construction, engineering and retail. A commissioner of the Unemployment Insurance Fund said they had entered into partnership with private businesses and NGOs to create thousands of jobs. And Mpumalanga's Premier Refilwe Nsweni Tsipane says the Temba Hospital at Bokweni outside Mbombela will soon be open to the public again. It's been closed for 7 days. Health workers withdrew due to safety concerns as they were allegedly assaulted by a group calling themselves a business forum and demanding tenders. Yesterday, the Premier led a delegation to meet with the hospital management and trade unions. Meanwhile, Action SA in Mpumalanga has called for the deployment of security personnel at the hospital. Moving to news beyond our own borders, more than 90 people have died after a ferry sank off the north coast of Mozambique. There were 12 survivors out of some 130 people believed to have been on board. Many children were among those who lost their lives in the disaster. The people were fleeing after disinformation about an ongoing cholera outbreak caused panic, the Nampula Secretary of State, Jamie Nito, said. Initially, the authorities blamed the tragedy by overcrowding, but later said the ferry had sunk after taking on water. And the Canadian province of Newfoundland was the last place on the land to see the total solar eclipse yesterday. Millions of people watched the phenomena sweep across a broad part of North America. The Mexican president was among those who converged on the resort town to be the first to watch the skies turn completely dark in the middle of the day. In New York, thousands flooded out of office blocks to stare up at the sky. They were treated to a breathtaking display of the sun's outer atmosphere, or corona, usually obscured by the light of the sun. And Alicudi Island off Sicily's northern coast has no hotels, no roads, only donkey transportation and a big problem. The tiny mountainous island, home to some 100 residents, is facing a crisis with 6 times more goats than desired. The mayor has now initiated an Adopt a Goat program, urging anyone to help relocate the surplus of goats which are causing havoc by invading homes and damaging public and private spaces. Introduced by a farmer 20 years ago, these unowned goats have reproduced rapidly. Adopters are welcome to take up to 50 goats each. However, they must be prepared to corner and catch them, with the deadline extended until all goats find homes. A goat as a pet? Well, why not? That's where we're going to leave those morning headlines. Let's take a first look at your sport with Graham.
Oh, normally the goats feature in the sporting segment. Love that story. Let's see if we can follow suit. Let's start with football. In fact, not the most positive story for Everton. In a massive blow, the Premier League has now handed the club a 2-point deduction for violating profitability and sustainability rules. Now, this, of course, comes on the top of a previous 6-point penalty, now leaving Everton just 2 points away from the dreaded relegation zone. And the club, currently sitting in 16th place on the table, has cited the indefinite suspension of key sponsorship deals as a contributing factor to their increased losses. And the original 6-point penalty was imposed due to the PSR breaches during the 21-22 season. So compound losses there, but leaving them in a very sticky situation. Now let's look at some European football, and Atletico Madrid, they're crying this morning as well. They'll be without their star forward Memphis Depay for their Champions League quarterfinal first leg tie against Borussia Dortmund, that due to injury. So the 30-year-old Dutchman suffered what has been called a muscular injury in his left leg, according to Atletico. While the club did not specify the expected absence period, Spanish media reports suggesting that he could miss 3 weeks, including the return leg in Germany on the 16th of April. Now, maybe a future goat in the making here as we turn to the IPL, and Ruturaj Gaikwad showcasing his brilliance as he guided the Chennai Super Kings to a remarkable 7-wicket triumph over a very strong Kolkata Knight Riders in their thrilling IPL encounter at Chepauk yesterday. So Gaikwad's composed knock of 67 from 58 balls, including 9 boundaries, proved really instrumental in securing that win. This marked Gaikwad's 15th IPL half-century and his highest score at Chepauk as well. So with CSK's impressive chase of 141 in 17.4 overs, they now remain unbeaten at home this season, sending out quite a message. Then we bring it back home and get back in the water. Erin Gallagher and Tatiana Smith both made impressive starts at the SA National Swimming Championships in Gqeberha. So Gallagher set a new SA record of 25.59 seconds in the 50-metre butterfly, while Smith won the 50-metre breaststroke event with a time of 30.09 seconds. Both swimmers showcasing some major talent and setting the stage for an exciting competition ahead. We love to see the young'uns coming up like this, but that's where we leave our sport for now. We'll touch on those headlines again with the news in around an hour or so. But right now, brand new day. The weather has been crazy. Let's get the latest on that front.
Thanks, G-Man. Well, the SA Weather Service, they have issued a yellow level 4 warning for disruptive rain leading to flooding of settlements, roads and low-lying bridges expected over several areas, including the Garden Route, the eastern parts of the Overberg and the Western Cape, parts of northwest Gauteng, the southern part of Limpopo and the western part of Mpumalanga. Moreover, a yellow level 2 warning has been issued for the Kokama, the Koga and the Sundays River local municipalities, as well as the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, predicting disruptive rain and localized flooding. Heavy downpours in Maokeng, Kroonstad have resulted in the loss of the life of a 50-year-old, highlighting the seriousness of the weather conditions across much of the Free State, with predictions of more rainfall. If you would love to share your morning view, remember to send us a WhatsApp on 063-408-8863. But let's take a first look at your temperatures for your Tuesday.
I've got to put out a warning straight off the bat. Those of you who have had your fill of my kind of social development diatribe every day, what we aren't getting right, I'm going to fill your cup up once again. We have brought in one of my favorite human beings on the planet. Professor Naidu is here to help us chat about fair access to medicine across the country. It's an opportunity now for all of us to focus on one of the major frontiers we need to move past as a society. Cannot wait to delve into that conversation. Then we're going to bring it a bit more personal, and we're going to get into the individual health of our kids and why it's so important that they've got a healthy gut. In fact, that's where it all begins. It's a Health Tuesday on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This one might be a bit of a trigger warning for some because it speaks to one of the biggest, I think, social development issues, maybe challenges we face in this country right now. But the answers are there. We've just got to reach out and grab them. And I think in many places worldwide, millions face threats to their health. That's kind of the human condition right now. Over half of the global population, in fact, lacked proper access to healthcare in 2021. Over half. Something is broken. Today we are speaking with Professor Pamela Naidu, CEO of the Heart and Stroke Foundation here in South Africa, about ensuring fair access to health resources for South Africans. Let's just make that the baseline. Prof, we love you. We love you for what you represent, your organization, and just the person that you are. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
When it comes to the Heart and Stroke Foundation of South Africa, I think a lot of people would like to know what exactly is it that you do? Where is that intervention coming from and the knowledge that you spread through your organization?
Yes, so the key pillars of what we do are really around health literacy and health education, but we try to achieve population level effect. So, you know, it's more of a public health framework that we use so that we could reach more people than fewer people. But just, I'll pick on two really important things we do. One is the health promotion program. And what we do here is we go into communities of need and we do health risk assessments. Now, you know, and so that sort of integrate the education into that. Because most people don't even know they sit with this really high blood pressure that could lead them to having a heart attack or a stroke or other circulatory conditions. So we're able to then detect and diagnose and then refer on to the appropriate medical care. So that's one of the other things we do. And then we're very involved in the nutrition space. Because I think this is coming up a bit later. Because as the science evolves, you're finding that gut health is linked to many things, to overall health. So, you know, key to good health is good nutrition. But again, you need to take a deep dive because, you know, what is it about macronutrients and micronutrients? And it's not just about the salt, sugar, and the fats.
For sure. Can I spice this up just a little bit here? So
Yeah.
you mentioned the salt and the sugar, so let's add a few more ingredients there. Is this not speaking to a shift? You talk about a shift in science, a shift in medical mindsets, that we've got to strengthen the body to do a lot of the healing itself. And that's where the nutrition plays a vital role. But there's an overlap when we speak about welfare and that social impact. It's a human right to be able to access nutrition. So now we're starting to connect these dots beautifully to understand that the weight of the expense later on, if we don't keep a population healthy, can start as early as the wrong kind of nutrition for a child.
Yeah.
How is the current situation impacting that space specifically?
Yes, no, it's a brilliant question. I think the problem is that because, you know, nutrition is not, to have good nutrition, it's not super expensive. But it's almost very sort of manipulated into being very expensive. And the right is actually to break that barrier.
For sure. Facilitate.
You know, and to have
good
access to,
nutrition, yeah.
yes, because it is about access to healthcare, but it's also about infrastructure and structural inequalities.
For sure.
You know, so, I mean, your basic vegetables and fruit should never cost you an arm and a leg. It shouldn't be like that. You know, we shouldn't be paying export prices, let's put it that way.
Yes.
So I think one of the things we do very strongly at the organization is we do a lot of lobbying work and advocacy work and trying to influence policy. But not just health policy, for health equality.
Consumer policy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, taxation and fiscal policies, as we call them, yeah.
Have you noticed a relationship between food insecurity and health outcomes? Is there a direct relationship?
Absolutely. So the sad fact is that we mustn't live in a bubble in South Africa.
For sure.
Just look around the world and look at the conflict, the wars, you know, just the strife that people are feeling everywhere, you know.
Globally,
It
yeah.
includes rich countries too, you know, low and middle income countries. And, you know, people don't really get this, but if you look at, say, for example, the quality of your soil, I mean, we are dependent largely on a country that's currently in war to provide us the fertilizer for that, for the crops,
Yeah.
you know. So food insecurity comes from obviously a lack of resources. And so you see crime rates increasing and so on, besides, of course, the health effect, which is going to be, particularly with young children, you're going to find that they're so undernourished that, you know, they're not going to learn well. So it has this
cycle
life
repeats
course
itself, yeah.
effect, which is a very difficult challenge, but we have to constantly address the issue.
The crazy thing is, and this is the fire of what South Africa presents, we are seeing, if you can just give the right nutrition at that critical gateway, that early childhood development phase, we can conquer anything in this country. We've proven that. We've got that ability, that resilience. We just need a little bit of food in our bellies to start that journey.
Absolutely.
Prof, please stick around. We're going to continue this conversation. We are talking about access to health and where that baseline is sitting in the world, and especially here in South Africa.
Definitely. And speaking of access, it's also time for our Pharmacy of the Week, where we salute our remarkable individuals leading the charge in healthcare. And this is proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. And let's take a look at this week's Pharmacy of the Week.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
From a young age, I've been inspired to be a pharmacist. My uncle was a pharmacist and he started the Hyperpharm group here in Richards Bay. We've been here serving the community now for 20 years. For me, serving the community to helping the customers, it always inspires me if they go out and they feel they've been helped by us. That's why a community pharmacy is such a valuable asset for a community in a rural area, because accessibility of our pharmacy for the general public is such a great asset. We were looted in July 2021 and the pharmacy was burned down. After a week, we started in our church in Richards Bay in a small room to help the chronic patients of the pharmacy. So we made up the medication and sent it with a few of my staff members to eSikaweni every day, where the customers came and pick up their medication. So after about 3 months, we got up the temporary premises in eSikaweni again, where we helped the broader community again for 18 months. And last year, August, the mall was ready and we came back to the mall again.
When we had the opportunity to move back into the new pharmacy, we decided that when a customer comes in here, we want them to just experience that tranquil, homey feeling. It's not like they're just in a row that they're being pushed through. They're in an atmosphere where they're being cared for, and we really want to help them just to get better.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. Inspiring communities, one pharmacy at a time.
We've been long in the game, healing South Africa one allergy at a time. All the sneezing, runny nose, itching of nose and throat, we've left no stone unturned. Until finally, South Africa recognized us. You've given us the courage to continue to do what we do best. Live, work, play, sleep allergy-free with Allergex Non-Drowsy. Ask your pharmacist for the full allergy range. Brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
To all the pharmacists out there looking after us every single day, thank you so much for your unwavering commitment and those tireless efforts to keep our communities healthy and thriving, especially as we head into flu season. Thank you.
Yes, well, we are taking the quickest of breaks on your Feel Good Breakfast show. When we get back, we're continuing the conversation around World Health Day. Professor Pamela Naidu is not going anywhere. We've got more questions to unpack to ensure equal healthcare to all South Africans.
We absolutely love that conversation, and I love getting a little bit of help from you in the morning. I need some help choosing my outfit. You've got one last chance to go and vote. 2 fantastic outfits there as we layer up for the new season. It's chilly outside. Let's get warm and cozy inside. You can help us choose on the other side of this.
Only you can make my day. It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And yes, you are just in time because we're building on our previous discussions on advocating for basic health rights with Professor Pamela Naidu, the CEO of Heart and Stroke Foundation of South Africa, with a focus on My Health, My Right being the World Health Day theme. Now, Prof, can we recap on I suppose, some of the rights patients or individuals have when it comes to access to their own healthcare? I think a lot of us don't know what we are entitled to.
Yes, absolutely. So essentially, in the public health system, you should not be refused care. So, for example, let's take a concrete example. This also speaks to what is your responsibility. So you need to be empowered. You need to know, say, for example, your family history. If you know you're vulnerable to cardiovascular disease or hypertension or raised cholesterol or any one of those conditions, you should be able to access care where you get the basic care. And that is sort of knowing your numbers, having a screen check, because that is the only way to actually know your absolute risk. And, that kind of access is very critical. But that is more, I would say, for young and older adults. But if we just take a step back, I think the basic fundamental thing is to have children, and particularly mothers and pregnant women, having access to care, because that is really the formation of health, right? And fortunately, our former late great President Nelson Mandela gave that right to, in the public sector.
Yeah.
But it's very common to hear that when people are desperate and they go into a private institution, even if it's a very young person or a baby, they will get refused care, even though it might be the closer facility.
Yeah.
So I think the equity in health comes from re-engineering is the word I'd like to use, the whole system. So somebody pays for it, wherever you access the care, but it is a right to health.
It definitely is a right that every person needs to have access to. Now, when it comes to, these systems that needs to change, obviously we need to address government, we need to address ministers, we need to address all these big corporations. What can we as the everyday South Africans do to get them to take notice, to be able to support the foundation that you guys lobby for all these incredible things?
Yes, no, absolutely. Two takeaways from me. One is to become a bigger advocate. If you look around the world, if you take a page out of HIV's book, the reason people in South Africa got treatment to access to ARVs is because of the lobby groups. Okay. So we need to do the same for all conditions. Because, for example, a cardiovascular condition, it's lifelong if you don't have the right access to care. So that is the one thing. But a very critical thing, I believe, is you don't have to be a rocket scientist, but self-management is very important. So that self-awareness of, what is your health status, be open and transparent about it with the people you trust, because a lot of this comes from stigma as well. That, we need to do away with the stigma of being hypertensive or having diabetes. But, you could live such a productive life if you get the correct treatment and care.
No, you definitely can. You definitely can. Now, with the World Health Day being the theme, My Health, My Right, what parting advice do you have for us today, Prof? Because I think a lot of people, we sometimes feel like we don't have the right to say something or to advocate for ourselves, but we need to hear it from someone to be like, actually, I'm allowed to stand up for myself in this aspect.
Absolutely, for yourself and for communities. So I think that, if we just look at the inception of My Health, My Right, so human rights and health rights, it stems from post-World War II. And that we should have come a long way. And if we are using the same narrative, something is inherently wrong. And so that's why I believe that we should all be much stronger and have a joint voice in trying to advocate for not only your own rights, your communities, your families, but also the country and the world at large. Because I think we could, if we can do away with divisions and unnecessary misconceptions about each other, I do think that mentally we'll also be stronger.
Yeah, no, we will. We definitely will. Well, Professor, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for parting your knowledge with us. And remember to prioritize your health. Equitable access to healthcare for everyone. That is the goal. But for more information, you can visit www.heartfoundation.co.za. Now, we've asked you earlier to help vote for our very own Graham's Look, and you had two options to choose from. And this is usually the fun thing about Tuesday, because it's completely up to you what our G-Man gets to wear. Think of it as our very own Expresso Barbie. He's your Ken.
I will be the Barbie of the show. I'll do it, girl. I'll take that mantle over from you. No, it's awful when we got to watch you helping get dressed every morning. Then we're like, come on, where's our help? We're the guys. We probably need more help than anyone else. No, two exquisite outfits, from sleek silhouettes to comfy classics. Contemporary fashion is the perfect blend for transitional fashion as we move through seasons. You want to be able to layer up. And of course, I asked you guys to help me decide between two looks that I think capture this completely. There's a grey quarter zip pullover paired with some nice chinos, a belt and some statement double-breasted pea coat action over there. Absolutely love that. And then option two was a beige polo neck styled with a molten funnel coat and then chocolate corduroy trousers. Let's find out how you guys were thinking about these outfits. What are you leaning towards? Yolanda saying option one, my choice, but sure, both will look great. Thank you, Yolanda. I certainly agree with you. I would have been happy with both of the outfits presented today. Let's see who else is weighing in on the conversation. Arlene saying, good morning, team. Option one, a more winter look. Keep warm and be safe. 100% right back at you, Arlene. Thank you so much. Shireen, good morning, sweetheart. Good morning, Graham and the team. Happy Tuesday. I choose option one for Graham. Would love to see how the breasted peacoat looks with the chinos and the grey pullover. Have a super day, team. Lots of love. I love that combination as well. I'll be very, very keen to see it. Claudia saying option one. I think we have a resounding winner. Charmaine Bayer also saying option one. Really nice, will suit Graham for sure. Charmaine, you know me too well. I think we have a winner, which means I have to complete the look. No, we had a little sneak peek. And of course, this is the resounding win. Thank you so much, Lush. Hey? Double-breasted peacoat, you make sure that the microphone's not being messed with. Absolutely love it. It's fitted, it's got the warmth, it's got structure to it, but it still feels like it cuts a really nice line. This is ideal for the transition into the new season. If it gets a little hot, you can take it off. You've got a lovely fitted jersey, which I might zip up to a polo neck. I love it. I love the layers. I love the color blocking in the outfit. Absolutely beautiful. I feel slick. I feel sophisticated. And with Woolworths, you can definitely get to that space as well as we move into the new season. Shop your favorite transitional looks for men in-store, online, or on the app. It's time for you to layer up. And of course, we've completed the look with some Chelsea boots. But love the colors, love the layers. This is superb. Y'all made a great choice. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
Big love is in the tiny details. Every second, every nook, every stitch. The details make the difference.
One thing I love is being on the winning team. And Graham, didn't I tell you? Option one, didn't I say the chinos were speaking to me? I love this. I can't wait to see it on Graham. It's going to be absolutely delicious. But something else that's going to be delicious is what is coming up on the menu. Let's go to the recipe first and foremost. I hear we're going to be getting into a cheese and chicken fataya. My friend, I know that whenever you put cheese and chicken together, it is just a combination of notes, and the combos are definitely going to be communicating. So stick around for that. And then we get into the importance of gut health for our children. And trust me, this is something we always 100% need to take into regard, and we're going to be getting into that conversation. Make sure you do not go anywhere. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back on the other side of this Expresso family.
Only you can make my day. It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Health Tuesday on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. Now, as our children transition back into, let's call it the rhythm of school, with the onset of term 2, our attention naturally turns to their overall well-being, or at least that should be one of our main focuses. And among many considerations, ensuring their digestive health remains healthy is paramount. This gets reinforced almost daily on the show, and here to discuss how we as parents can support our children's digestive wellness is pediatrician, one of our favorites, Dr. Anissa Barhead. Doc, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is a funny one. We're going to talk about our tummies and how regular we are. Now, we're going to talk about the regularity of our kids, and it's important to talk about this, not to have these kind of sacred cows in this space, because so much of your health and wellness begins with the health of your gut. And getting the right kind of fiber, getting the right kind of balance there is vital. Why is this such an important element of a child's health?
So if we're looking at the research, we always go for us doctors into the research, and if we're looking at brain development and child's health, there's a huge correlation in helping, and specifically with a high fiber diet. So that's going to really help your child grow into that adult that we really want to be. So starting off young is very important, especially with getting the right diet, and especially high fiber diets. That's going to help overall.
And setting the tone. Because you're kind of teaching them how to eat and look after their body and kind of manifest their own health. When we move into term 2 now, obviously things get shaken up again. Diet changes just a little bit. Maybe anxiety attached to that. A couple of things are changing. What are the major effects on digestion for our little ones as we go back to school?
So we're seeing term 2, it's always exam term. So everyone already is panicking from that first school.
You just gave me a stomach ache now,
exactly.
Come on.
And everyone's having anxiety already about what's going to come up and lead up to it. So we're seeing a lot of functional bowel issues. So a lot of the constipations, irritable bowel syndromes, but the general tummy aches. I don't want to go to school because my tummy's sore, Mom. So we there's a bit of a balance about it, but we're finding if there's a lot of big tummy aches, it's persisting, there's something that's just affecting overall appetite, we're starting to go, maybe something else sinister is going on.
You know, when we talk about the younger kids, yes, it becomes an easy get-out-of-jail-free card to get out of school, and then you start to learn a lot about your child in that space, okay, when they're on and when they're kind of pushing that boundary. But as children become young people and you're writing exams, you're going into these high-pressure stages, the last thing you need is your tummy not to be working effectively. Why can it have such a hectic knock-on effect, especially in kind of older, younger people?
So we're looking at essentially from looking at that kind of from bowel issues, we're looking at absorbing the vitamins, we're looking at getting your kind of helping with your concentration.
The stuff that the brain needs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So your brain needs all of those natural vitamins, needing to absorb all of those good proteins and vegetables, but we need to make sure that we're actually growing as well. So especially if you start losing your appetite and you start losing your growth, it's going to affect your overall health, and then what's going to happen? Your child's not going to go to school all the time. So this is where we need to kind of get on top of making sure that they're getting a good overall diet, getting up with making sure that they're actually concentrating properly at school so that they can actually do well at school.
Benefit from all of that, that resource. How do we get that right? What does the right kind of food look like?
So right kind of food is kind of having a good base, and this is where high fiber, okay, so making sure you're getting a good amount of beans, getting a good amount of vegetables, the green veggies, the broccoli.
Green, yeah.
And then we're going to have a good balance of proteins and fruit. Okay, so I always say make sure you've got a good basic breakfast, okay? Your breakfast, that's your good baseline for the day. If you've got a high fiber diet, that's going to keep your overall appetite going for the whole day, but also maintain your sugar levels during the day. And then you start having your little snackies in between, because kids love snacking. So if you've got your big base in the morning and then have your little snacks during the day, you'll be able to kind of maintain a good kind of overall diet throughout the day.
Do you have maybe one piece of advice for parents that are struggling to integrate the high fiber, integrate this kind of notion of gut health with their little ones?
So kids love visual kind of things. So for your snack, so try and kind of have a good variety, kind of have a good amount of colors, shapes, and make that lunchbox look appealing. Don't have that plain white bread.
Let them help you make the lunchbox.
Let them help, exactly. So kind of make it a bit more visually appealing.
I love that. Let them get invested in the process as well, and maybe you'll both improve your gut health.
Exactly.
I love that. Thank you so much. This conversation does go up and down, and maybe that's a good place to start, is ask for their advice on how you can be a bit more healthy. I love the fact that we get you to plug into whenever we talk about these things. Thank you so much. This is the joy of my job. I get to get it straight from the source. Now, the bottom line is why I was joking about not having any sacred cows in the space. When you need help, you need it fast. And what I love about our partner through this journey, Microlax, works from 5 to 15 minutes. It'll get going, and that's versus the oral treatment, which can take between 2 and 72 hours to be effective, according to how difficult that system is. And reliable and effective relief from occasional constipation is something that really does matter if you're affected by it. This is easy to use. It's easy to administer. It's not like a regular enema. You don't have to be scared of it, and especially your child doesn't have to be. And I love the fact that this is suitable for adults and for babies, the elderly and young babies, most susceptible to constipation, in fact. And Microlax is suitable and convenient for both, and then all of us in between. They are in our corner. So wave goodbye to any concerns about your child's digestive health and get ready to help them just achieve so much more, be a better, more energetic version of themselves to tackle the next school term. Absolutely love it. And of course, we need to put some food in that belly as well occasionally, and it helps if it is extremely delicious. But Doc, I'm going to say thank you so much for doing what you do every day. I'm realizing more and more that so many of our health issues and concerns start with the health and the balance in our gut. If you can get that right at a young age, you are setting your child off literally on a lifelong journey to well-being. So get it right from the start.
Thanks, G-Man. Well, listen, if you love bite-sized foods, then you will love this next recipe. We are making a fataya, which is a Middle Eastern version of a mini pie or cheese bread, and it is typically served with spinach and cheese. But today we are adding our South African twist to it by adding some chicken and cheese. Now, it's very important that this recipe is a little bit, we are going for the convenient route, so we are going to be using Clover's individually wrapped cheese slices. So no slicing or dicing is required, which is absolutely perfect. Plus, this cheese melts beautifully and will add the perfect texture. Now, G-Man, you are joining me in the kitchen for this recipe. We are going the convenient route.
Okay,
so we
thank you.
already have ready-made dough. You can
Well
buy
done.
it in a little baggie at the store. You can even make it from scratch if you've got the energy for it. But this is all about having some fun. So you are going
Brilliant.
to take one of our Clover individually wrapped cheeses that we've got.
Lovely.
You can place it down and fold the, I'll show you, yeah.
Okay,
And then you
okay,
fold
and then fold it
the
over.
dough over, yeah.
Nice. Just one slice, eh?
Just one slice, fold it over.
Shame. I made little mini pizzas with Nick Hammond yesterday on the show, and he used like all the cheese, everything that he could. I was like, that's so Expresso. Just
And
go for it, buddy.
Just go for it, and then give it a bit of a stretch, because now we're going to turn it into a little bit of a
sneaky.
boat and add our
word.
filling. So how amazing
I love
is that?
that. Okay, this has got my interest now.
Well, with our individually wrapped cheese slices, they also come in cheddar and Gouda, and you can also add both if you like. Pack it as much flavor. If you want to add an extra slice, you can do that too. But I've got some chicken that we've got shredded. We're going to add some mayo, barbecue sauce, as well as a little bit of chili to get a little bit of a bite.
Oh, this is a great, I'm thinking as you kind of lay this out, this is a great post-big meal weekend kind of leftover hack.
Yes.
If you've got any chicken or any really nice meat and some funky sauces, you can literally create anything.
You can.
I love that.
And you can have fun with this. If you're not a chicken mayo individual, keep it vegetarian. Perhaps, you know, add some feta to this, add some garlic to this, and really play with it.
Feta and sun-dried tomatoes, some olives.
Ooh,
You could take it any different direction. I love the fact that our Clover Elite in the pre-packaged now, that you've got the stronger cheddar flavor. I love it. I love the fact that you can have your Gouda, you can have your cheddar, but you can also have the ease of just having an individually wrapped slice that just comes straight out.
Definitely. We're going to add these to our boat.
Very nice.
And if
Mine's
you want
more of
a
a
bit
raft
extra,
than a boat. I
a
suppose,
little
isn't it?
raft. We just need that delicious filling to be at
Just
the
don't want
very
anything to
top. Because remember, when this goes
spill
into
out.
the oven, that cheese is going to become ooey and gooey, and it's going to be stretchy when you break this bread apart with each bite. So there we go. And that goes into the oven at 180 degrees for about 12 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. If you want to add more cheese to the top, like some grated cheese, you can do that, and you're in for an absolute
I'm thinking some
delicious
spring
treat.
onions maybe to add a bit of crunch, but what a jumping off point. Imagine the different ways that you could take this. I absolutely love it. Okay, well, let's get this guy in the
We'll
oven.
pop it in the oven. I mean, we still have time left, but it just shows you how quick and easy this recipe is. Play around with the filling. Of course, if you're more into your cheeses, add more cheese and really customize this.
I'm thinking I would do it like a Chinese, Japanese, like sword. Just layer and then fold, and then layer and then fold. I absolutely love it. I'm looking at those three beautiful little.
Should we give it a
there.
taste?
I think let's give it a taste.
Should we
I
give
think
it a
we've earned
taste?
That right,
We
my friend.
definitely have. I'll bring one here.
Go
You
for
can
it.
slice it for us.
Yay.
I'll move that.
Let's get the cross section here so that you can see.
Oh, we've got the cheese. Of course, this came out the oven a little while ago, but if it's hot, it's going to be ooey and gooey.
Oh man!
I need a smaller cut,
I'm
so
gonna
for
give you
TV size.
a finger of. There we
Thank
go, and
you.
Get the very best
Absolutely.
right from the middle there.
So there we go. I love the chicken mayo coming through with the cheese and a hint of bite. I'm getting the chili.
We maybe got a chunk of it.
What do you think?
Absolutely, I wouldn't really take a TV bite there, but that's the problem when you make food that is so good, it is so delicious. I love it. I love the cheesiness. I would put in even more layers of cheese. This is like the most exciting discovery I think I've ever made. The fact that you can fold and layer cheese into bread like this. Do yourself a favor, buy yourself the store-bought dough and paste. Well, if you've got an easy dough making technique, just go and do it. The bottom line, make a lot of it so you can experiment and have some fun. But this combination of the chicken and the barbecue,
And a
an
little bit of
absolute
chili.
win.
Unbelievable. Well, G-Man, while you enjoy the rest of your breakfast, these cheese and chicken fatayas are super delicious and so comforting. They are super easy to make and definitely will please give it a go. Now, if you want the full recipe, all the ingredients you need and the steps to make it, you can visit expressoshow.com for that full recipe.
Clover cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares, adding joy and stretching our imagination. Clover cheese, perfectly crafted.
Made with love by Clover.
I know I'm going to be visiting expressoshow.com because that recipe looks absolutely delicious, Cape Town. Oh, my goodness. So what exactly is going to be happening here in Johannesburg in a little bit? You did hear from our Cape TZ family. It is the fact that Miss Gabs is in the building. Yes, that's Gabs with a double B, double Z. And she is going to be not only chatting to us about her incredible story, but also getting into a little bit of a performance, my friend, or two. You got to stick around to find out. However, we also get to later on find out what it is when it comes to a crash course to be a pet owner. Harmony went to go and experience it, and I'm hoping it'll get you ready as well. The winter is creeping in. It's here, in fact, and maybe you need a little bit of a friendly friend. Well, we're going to be getting into it in a bit right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back after this.
There are stories of strivers, and we're inspired by them all. We invite you to write your story with us. Your story matters. ABSA.
It's my feel good breakfast show.
Welcome back, Expresso family. I'm so glad you decided not to go away. And if you're just joining us, then welcome, my love. Let's get your morning started. And we got the perfect person to do just that, because on this Feel Good morning, please help me welcome the ever-incredible Miss Gabs to the building. A woman who started writing and singing her own music from a very young age, but has grown and hails from Imbalenhle in Mpumalanga. In terms of her and her music, it has brought her to the city of gold and now to the seat right here in the Josie studios. And my friend, today we are going to be entertained by her, but we're also getting to know her a little bit better. Everybody, please welcome to the studio. It is none other than Miss Gabs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. How are you, my gorgeous?
I'm well, thanks. It's a beautiful day. Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you for being here. Thank you for waking up for us.
I really appreciate this. I had to wake up.
I love that.
Yeah.
And my babes, you've come so far because you started writing and singing at a very young age.
Yeah.
Speak to us about this. How old were you, number one? And, you know, where did that inspiration come from?
I can't exactly pinpoint how old I was, but, you know, as far as I can remember, as soon as I could put a pen to a paper, I started writing my own lyrics, and, you know, it didn't always make sense at first, but, you know, the more I got a hang of it and the more I wrote and the more I expressed, the more I put on paper, the more it started to make sense. So yeah, from the age of about 12, 13 is where things started to make a little bit more sense, and then 17, 18 is where I actually deemed myself a writer.
That's
and
right.
A musician.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now look at you taking over the world. It's so beautiful to see, my babe. And of course, it started with that very first opportunity, which was with Kalawa Jasmine. Speak to us about that. How did that come about?
My beautiful friend, Q Deep, he's still at Kalawa. He got the opportunity to work with Kalawa Jasmine, and, you know, like many other artists, he gave the letter down to someone else, and I was lucky enough that it was me. He invited me to studio. I got the opportunity to work with Clap, and as much as that song wasn't released, but, you know, it opened a whole lot of avenues for me musically. I also got to discover myself as a musician and as a vocalist, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity.
I love that. And discovering yourself always comes with lessons, right?
Yes, definitely.
So what are some of the lessons that you got to learn at Kalawa Jasmine?
That things don't always happen when you want them to. Patience. I mean, you know, I wanted that song to be released at that time because, you know, I saw myself, those big lights.
Yes, my babes, on the television, on the radio, yes.
But, you know, I learned that things don't always happen when you want them to, and for good reasons sometimes. And you don't see those reasons at that moment, but, you know, as time goes on, you realize why things didn't happen the way that you had planned for them to happen. And yeah, that's the lesson I got, man. Things don't always happen when you want them to, but they'll always happen when you need them.
Come on. And have you learned the reasons now, you know, or are you still on that journey?
I have learned the reasons.
I love that.
I feel like at that time I was very young.
Yeah.
If I had gotten the opportunity to be in the industry at that time, there were a lot of things that I didn't understand, and I probably would have been self-destructive.
Made bad decisions.
Yes. So there was a lot of growing I needed to do. I needed to learn a lot about the industry and how it works, and I'm grateful that that happened the way that it did.
We are grateful because now you're a full artist who doesn't make bad decisions, which I like. Yes.
Yeah.
But babe, I know that for a lot of artists, the beginning of their story also started with being in the choir. Was that ever a part of yours?
It was.
Okay.
Not a church choir, though, school choir. I went to Metropolitan International College in Nelspruit.
Yeah.
And I was in the school choir there, you know. And I think that's also where I discovered some of my vocal capabilities. You know, I've always sung, but I think I also grew as a vocalist in that choir. You know, you get to experience a lot of diversity and dimensions vocally when you work in a choir. And yeah, I had the opportunity and I'm grateful.
Come on, and very quickly before I let you go and get ready and warm up those vocal cords for us, tell us about the upcoming EP, my babe.
Upcoming EP, I got to work with Marcus MC, who's working with Kanyesa currently.
So
I worked with him on my previous EP as well. There's a song that I did with Gabza. a while ago. Hopefully I can get that song on the EP as well.
Come on!
I have a local producer as well that I'm working with. His name is the Conclusive Producer. He's on the EP.
Okay.
And Vissel, who's also a local producer from back in my hood, you know, in Balentli. He's also going to be in the EP. So look forward to that.
I love it.
We're going to give you guys good music. Yeah, I'm looking
Beautiful.
forward to doing that. Yeah.
We'll talk about me being on the EP. All right, thank you. Hopefully one of these days I'm finally going to get on the EP. Miss Gabs is in the building. Luckily, she's not going anywhere. She's still going to be giving us 2 performances, my lovely. And this morning is only just about to get better. Right now, though, let's take care of business because Zoe is taking care of the news headlines.
Thank you, Zanele. Well, it is 7 a.m., so let's look at those national news. The Durban High Court has issued a warrant for the arrest of 2 of the 65 accused in the July 2021 riots case because they didn't provide reasons for their absence. All the accused are facing charges of terrorism and conspiracy to commit murder. The murder charges are related to the state's claim that the defendants conspired to kill Chief Justice Raymond Zondo when former President Jacob Zuma was sentenced to 15 months imprisonment for contempt of court. And the Department of Employment and Labour wishes to create some 700,000 jobs through the Unemployment Insurance Fund. The government has made 23 billion rand available for the National Job Creation Programme. 8.4 billion has been budgeted for Gauteng alone to start more than 100 labour activation programs in 22 sectors. This includes industries such as agriculture, construction, engineering and retail. A commissioner of the Unemployment Insurance Fund said they had entered into partnerships with private businesses and NGOs to create thousands of jobs. We move to news beyond our own borders. Nicaragua has requested the UN's highest court to halt German weapons sales to Israel. Germany is accused of breaching the UN Genocide Convention by sending military hardware to Israel. Berlin has rejected the claims and will present a defense to the International Court of Justice known as the ICJ. The allegations built on a separate case brought by SA in January when the ICJ judges ordered Israel to take every possible measure to avoid genocidal acts. It also ordered Hamas to immediately release all hostages taken from Israel during its 7th of October attacks. And more than 90 people have died after a ferry sank off the north coast of Mozambique. There were 12 survivors out of the 130 people believed to have been on board. Many children were among those who lost their lives in the disaster. The people were fleeing after disinformation about ongoing cholera outbreak caused panic, and that is according to the Nampula Secretary of State. Initially, the authorities blamed the tragedy on overcrowding, but later said the ferry sank after taking on water. And despite the black southeaster, heavy rain and thunderstorms affecting parts of the Western Cape and beyond, the National Sea Institute, known as the NSRI, didn't face critical weather-related incidents at sea or on inland waters during the past weekend. However, the NSRI volunteered crews remain on high alert to assist disaster risk management, the police and emergency services as needed. Proactively using the adverse weather for training, NSRI volunteer rescue stations have been practicing safely navigating and encountering conditions similar to those in sea and inland water emergencies. This readiness showcases their commitment to preparedness and ensuring they're always ready to respond effectively to any challenges that may arise. Well, that's where I leave those morning headlines for now. Let's take another look at your sport.
Let's start with some footballing news, and in a major blow to Everton, the Premier League has now handed the club a 2-point deduction for violating profitability and sustainability rules. Now, this comes on top of a previous 6-point penalty, leaving Everton just 2 points away from the dreaded relegation zone and at a crunch time in the season. So the club, currently sitting in 16th place, has now cited the indefinite suspension of some key sponsorship deals as a contributing factor to their increased losses. And the original 6-point penalty was imposed due to PSR breaches during the 21-22 season as well. So it's not looking good for Everton. Now let's look at some European football, and Atletico Madrid, they're not happy this morning either. They'll be without their forward and talismanic player at that, Memphis Depay, for their Champions League quarter-final first leg against Borussia Dortmund, and that due to injury. So the 30-year-old Dutchman suffered a muscular injury in his left leg, according to Atletico. While the club had not specified the expected absence period, Spanish media reports suggesting that he could miss up to 3 weeks, including the return leg in Germany on the 16th of April. Now let's turn to cricket, and he's certainly put his hand up this season as he did last. Ruturaj Gaikwad showcased his brilliance as he guided the Chennai Super Kings to a remarkable 7-wicket triumph over the Kolkata Knight Riders. That was in their thrilling IPL clash at Chippauk yesterday. So Gaikwad's composed knock of 67 amidst 58 balls, and that included 9 boundaries, proved instrumental in securing that win and certainly set the pace and the tone. This marked Gaikwad's 15th IPL half-century and his highest score at the stadium. So with CSK's impressive chase of 141 in 17.4 overs, they now remain unbeaten at home this season, and he's a big part of that, certainly. Now let's bring it back home and get back in the water, where Erin Gallagher and Tatiana Smith are shining. They made impressive starts at the SA National Swimming Championships in Gqeberha. So Gallagher set a new South African record, in fact, of 25.59 seconds in the 50-meter butterfly. Well done. And Smith won the 50-meter breaststroke event with a time of 30.09 seconds. Both swimmers showcasing some incredible talent and the perfect way to set the stage for an exciting competition ahead. We'll certainly watch that space. But that's where we leave our sport for now. We'll touch on those headlines again in about an hour or so. Let's get into the traffic.
Thanks, G. Well, let's start off with traffic in Pretoria. There's heavy congestion on the N4 westbound at the Proefplaas interchange. Delays are experienced, so allow for more travel time. And if you're in Bellville, Cape Town, there's been an accident on the N1 inbound at Durban Road. That right lane is closed, causing heavy delays. That's your traffic. Let's take another look at your weather. And the SA Weather Service says the current inclement weather in some parts of the country, especially on the Western Cape, will start to clear from tomorrow. The Weather Service has issued a severe weather alert for areas in the southern and central parts of the country today, where rain and thunder showers can be expected. SABC meteorologist Mpho Rashimpi says sunny skies and warmer temperatures will return by Friday. Rashimpi said cut-off lows are at their prime during April and referred to the KZN flooding, which also occurred in autumn. Meanwhile, Johannesburg's Emergency Management Services has called on residents of low-lying areas to be cautious, as heavy rains could still lash most parts of the city. It also warned that motorists should be extra vigilant on roads, as it could be slippery. Well, that's your weather warning for today. Let's take a look at your sunrise view. This one was sent in by Rena Vasan from East London. Some interesting tones, more of your purples and greys and some blues, but thank you for this one, Rena. If you would love to share yours, please do so on our WhatsApp line. That number is 063 408 8863. Let's take another look at your temperatures.
know that big dreams do come true, just like it did for 5 National Lottery winners who won on Powerball and Powerball Plus over the weekend, and it was big. It was massive, and you could be one of those joining the list of multimillionaires when you play Powerball and Powerball Plus for 8 million rand in total estimated jackpots today. That's this Tuesday. So you can play your Powerball for an estimated 5 million and then Powerball Plus for an estimated 3 million rand. But if you want to win, you gotta play, and you can get your tickets so easily. There are so many ways. nationallottery.co.za online. You can use the mobile app, which is super simple. You can buy your tickets through cell phone banking. You can use your own cell phone banking app. You can simply dial *120 *7529 hash for the USSD. It is so easy, and we've made it even easier by keeping all of those details up on the Expresso social media pages, so you've got no excuses. Panda pusher, play, baby. It's Powerball and Powerball Plus for 8 million rand in total estimated jackpots today, and it could be you hitting it lucky. Well, if you're a runner and you want to get out there, you're going to feel like you've just won the lotto when the Two Oceans rolls around again. I think one of the globe's premier long-distance running events, experiences, is here to be embraced, and we'll get into what you can expect this year. And then it looks like Harmony is about to become a pet parent, or at least start learning the ropes on the other side of this. Oh, hello.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3, and joining us in celebrating the incredible milestone of the Two Oceans Marathon as it marks its 25th anniversary for the half marathon and an impressive 54 years for the full marathon. Now prepare to be captivated by the breathtaking 56 and 21 kilometer routes that this iconic event has to offer. And it is known far and wide as the world's most beautiful marathon, where participants will have the privilege of traversing picturesque landscapes adorned with natural wonders such as Chapman's Peak and Kirstenbosch. Well, here to chat to us about the Two Oceans Marathon is Chair and Vice Chair of the NPC Board, Ilse de Wet and Liesel Short. So great to have both of you joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Now, what is it about the Two Oceans Marathon that makes it such a global spectacular?
Well, I mean, besides the fact that we have 16,000 joining us for the half marathon and 13,000 for the ultra.
Sure.
I mean, the numbers alone talks to the magnitude of this race. And the fact that we completely sold out at full capacity tells you that it is a glorious race to partake in. We also have international runners from 88 countries
Sure.
joining us. I mean, as far and wide as Taiwan and the Maldives, Mexico, US, UK. I mean, it's just fantastic what this race attracts in terms of international footprint. So that's what makes it amazing. I mean, it is spectacular in terms of beauty, spectacular in terms of race profiles because it's challenging, but also, I mean, the amount of spectators that come out, etc. It's just phenomenal in terms of scale.
Yeah.
Pure scale.
It is the support that is so incredible, especially if you're making your way up Southern Cross. You want the people to cheer you. That for me was the highlight of when I did it. I still remember being like, okay, when is this hill ending? It is a tough one, but with the support along the side of the roads, you don't feel it. Now, Liesel, I wanted to ask you, when it comes to this race, what can those participating expect along the route?
Well, besides the beauty and running Chapman's Peak, running Constantia Neck, and then of course running Southern Cross, we do have various activations next to the route that's going to build the vibe and give the gees and all of that. But the biggest activation next to the road is the support from the community. I mean, as you said yourself, there's nothing as lekker as running and people are standing next to the road and they're giving you high fives and there you go. And then the best is always on Southern Cross Drive when all the old people actually come out. They come and put their camping chair in their driveway with their little cool box with drinks and they actually cheer you on. And they sit there the whole morning and they cheer you on. So that is the absolute the most amazing part. And then of course that expectation when you cross the finish line, that complete elevation. At Southern Cross you suffered, on Chappies you suffered, but the moment you cross the finish line it is just the most amazing feeling.
It really is. And I know this is a race that is sought after. I know friends and family that every year when the entries open, they're like, oh, you entering, let's get in, let's get on the waiting list. And they wait for those ballots to come out to be able to at least enter the half. So I know there's a lot of preparation and, you know, a lot of thinking and strategy involved in pulling this off. Perhaps one of you can shed some light as to the type of planning involved in pulling off the Two Oceans Marathon.
Well, there's a very specific reason why event planners tell you what happens behind the scenes, stay behind the scenes.
Okay.
But we can lift the curtain a little bit. I mean, first of all, it's very important to mention that Two Oceans Marathon, we did receive our International Association for Ultra Marathon Runners gold label status this year.
Okay.
So that is the most prestigious award that can be awarded to any ultra marathon worldwide.
Sure.
And we will not be receiving that gold status if the meticulous detailed planning behind the scenes were not in place. That's the highest accolade that you can get, and they will only give it to you if everything is in place. So, I mean, we work quite closely with the City of Cape Town, we work with disaster risk management, we're working with fire. Then it's all the planning for the start, the finish. I mean, it takes roughly 1,400 marshals and volunteers along the route every day to make sure that the runners are safe, they are kept en route, and that they are looked after. That's just a tiny little bit. We're not talking about the hours and hours put in behind the scenes. It takes about 8 to 9 months to put this race on the road. You don't just wake up and say, oh, I'm going to arrange a race today for 30,000 people.
No,
you don't do that. I mean, there's rules and regulations we need to keep to, permits, applications, etc., etc. So yeah, it's a massive team effort behind the scenes with stakeholders, partners, with everybody.
With everyone.
With everyone.
Well, Ilse, Liesel, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sharing the excitement, the detail that went in, well, just a little bit that you were able to share, but of course it's always the proof is in the pudding with that gold status on top of everything. So congratulations to your entire team and good luck. I believe you are running the half this weekend.
We're hoping to. We're still standing. We're still standing by Sunday.
You will. If not, I will carbo load for you. How does that sound?
So we can just add some critical information that we just want to share with the viewers because there's obviously, with a race like this, there's some important communication. Race day parking, if our participants can please make sure they get their parking tickets at the expo, which starts on Wednesday. Critical, because then you don't have to worry about it on race day. And ride share, guys, there's going to be anxiety on the morning. The best thing to do is to share that anxiety with somebody sitting next to you on your way to the race. Please do not park on the M3 and around UCT. No. Very, very important. You're probably going to get fined. And then also obey our traffic officials and our marshals. It's for your safety. It's for the safety of spectators and runners. And we want an event-free race. So please, if they could abide by those, we'd be very, very happy. And then to our runners out there, enjoy Saturday and Sunday. That's what all the months of training is for.
Definitely. Well, there you go. You heard it from Ilse. Thank you so much. Liesl, thank you for joining us. And all the best if you are running the Two Oceans Marathon, whether you're doing the half or the ultra.
And I'm going to say right off the bat, when I managed to make it through the 55, coming through Kirstenbosch, whoever ran out of their house with boiled potatoes, bless you, bless you, bless you. It's that kind of community that you're going to plug into for the race. So all the best of luck if you're going out there and running. Now, I think you know on the show how excited we get to welcome little furry friends into our lives. And Harmony, he took the first step. He visited the incredible Greenside Animal Hospital in Johannesburg for a crash course on everything that we need to know about our guardians of love and how best to care for them. Let's take a look.
As we embark on the journey of welcoming home our new furry family member, there's a lot to know and consider. That's why we're here at the Greenside Animal Hospital to unravel the essentials of caring for and understanding your new companion and their needs.
Dr. Simone, firstly, welcoming a new puppy into a home is a lifetime commitment. What are some of the factors that we should consider as new owners of a beautiful pet?
It is an important decision, and it's a lifetime commitment. Look at your lifestyle, and where do you stay? Do you have space? Does the breed of dog that you want, does it need space? Does it need exercise? Just purely size of the dog. Can you live in an apartment, or do you need a big garden? Then the time that you've got, do you have enough time to look after a pet? Certain breeds need a lot more attention. Grooming wise, they need a lot more attention than sent to the parlor for a cut. Certain ones are more low maintenance, other ones are more high maintenance. It's important to do your research before you jump into it.
Nutrition plays a vital role in your puppy's early development, as their delicate digestive system requires some very special attention in order to support their optimal health and well-being. Remember that setting up your puppy for a healthy life starts with the right diet. How we safeguard ourselves with vaccinations, ensuring that our furry companions are immunized, is crucial for their overall well-being.
So we start with your 5-in-1 vaccination for your puppies, and there's really no downside to vaccinating. You just boost their immunity to prevent them from getting that disease, so it's really all positive.
Socializing our pups is like arranging play dates for our furry toddlers, where they learn how to sniff, waggle, and bark their way into the hearts of both other dogs and humans alike.
It's extremely important. We want a puppy that integrates well into the family. It'll be a pet that you can have people over. It won't turn aggressive. It won't be scared. Also, very important, you want to be able to take it to the vet. And the vet needs to be able to examine it. So it's important to keep them socialized so that they are used to different environments and different sounds and sights. So socializing them from a young age, we are going to prevent so many issues and behavioral issues later on.
Although it can be so much fun introducing your puppy to the outside world, there are some harmful parasites that can cause some serious issues to your puppy and hinder its development.
You can divide it into internal parasites and external parasites. So your internal parasites, those are your worms. It's things they ingest that lives inside the animal. Your roundworm, hookworm, whipworm, and tapeworm. And then your external parasites, those are the things that lives outside on the animal skin. So those would be your ticks and fleas and also mites.
How do we notice, these ticks or fleas on our puppies?
So your ticks are bigger, you'll see them. With your long-haired breeds, it can be a problem. You can miss them really, really easily. Fleas are much smaller, and most owners will not notice that your pet has got fleas. Your fleas will cause an allergic reactions or see hair loss. Mites, the most common thing, will also be hair loss. They'll have patchy hair loss in various areas. With worms, that's a little bit more tricky. You won't always know if your pets have got worms. Usually worms will cause other issues. So it can cause vomiting and diarrhea. They'll be a little bit thin sometimes. It's so easy to treat them for ticks and fleas and worms these days. Your parasiticides come in chewable forms, little treats that you give them that they love to eat. So it's so easy to treat.
So we have to prevent internal parasites and external parasites, and there's probably a whole host of other different things. But is there like one-stop shop or treatment or lifestyle thing that we can do to keep our pets happy?
Yes, there's a lot of things on the market these days, and you do get certain parasiticides that will cover tick and flea as well as mites, and then it will worm as well.
It's almost like a broad spectrum parasiticide.
Yes.
NexGard Spectra actually offers a beef-flavored chew that your dog can just ingest once a month, and they love it. And you can even take it from a young age. Taking your pet to the vet goes beyond just addressing the immediate issue. It gives you an opportunity to enhance your role as a pet parent, and also for you to glean some invaluable knowledge from veterinary experts. From us here, we wish you and your furry companion a wonderful day, and remember to safeguard them with NexGard.
Oh my goodness, look at the puppy.
Oh, buddy, I think you're ready. I think you're ready, Harmony. Take the leap, man. Get yourself a gorgeous little pup. I wouldn't be surprised if he went home with one of those dogs. Absolutely beautiful. But let's let you get home with something.
Definitely. Now you stand a chance to win 2,000 Rand cash
Nice.
plus a surprise goodie bag for your furry friend. Now simply reply to the competition post that's on Expresso's Facebook, X or Instagram pages and tell us how much do you love your dog.
Oh.
Now don't forget to include that hashtag NextGuard and hashtag Guardians of Love. The competition will close at midday on Friday, the 12th of April. There are T's and C's that can be found on our website, expressoshow.com.
The whole world to infinity,
And
infinity and beyond. We love our dogs. We absolutely love it. We also love our runners in Cape Town around the time of the Two Oceans Marathon. There is this beautiful tribe, a community that are ready to get you moving. And one of our favorites, Carmen Valentino, was here to take us through a bit of a blow-by-blow in terms of what you need to prep for ahead of this mammoth undertaking. Whether you're doing the half or the full, it's going to push your body, so we want you to be prepped.
It's all about the preparation. We've got more Two Oceans prep coming your way, so don't go anywhere.
There are stories of believers, and we're inspired by them all. We invite you to write your story with us. Your story matters. ABSA.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3. Now, earlier we spoke to the board members of what you can expect at this year's Two Oceans Marathon that's taking place this coming Saturday. Now we're about to chat to biokineticist Caitlin Miles to learn valuable tips on how to prepare ahead of the full or the half marathon, depending on which one you are doing. Caitlin, it's great to have you here.
Lovely to be here.
It's a big week for the runners because now they are prepping. They've done all the work they've needed to do. Saturday is the big day, a few days away, but perhaps you can share some tips on how they can, you know, leading up to the week of race day, prep their body, whether it is through stretches or to shorter warm-ups. How can they best be prepared come race day on Saturday?
Yeah, so there's obviously leading up to the race, you want to be preparing from about a week out. So it's not only what can I do on race day, but you kind of want to separate it to, okay, a week out leading up to that event and then prepping the morning of and obviously getting excited for the race. So you want to make sure that you are not doing too little, but also not doing too much. So you need to find that sort of sweet spot between too much activity and too little. Obviously, you're in your taper week leading up to the race, but I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is doing absolutely nothing. Okay. So you shouldn't be sitting on your couch and doing absolutely nothing. You want to still keep moving. It's okay to go for, you know, a 15 to 20 minute slow run the day before to keep the legs moving, keep them active, and then doing things like activation of glutes, hamstrings, quads, hip flexors, calves, etc. All the things that you would have been doing, but very important that you don't do anything new.
Okay.
It's not the time to surprise your body before race day. So yeah, so leading up to race day, not doing too much, not doing too little, finding that sweet spot. And then, you know, the night before, making sure that you are stretching, keeping mobile, doing some mobility exercises, etc. And then the morning of, you can do the same thing. So another mistake that people make is not warming up properly. And that's when you either are not fully prepared to start the race or, you know, later on in the race, your body won't be getting you through to the finish line. So warming up properly the day before, the morning of the race is also important.
And it's going to be chilly, it's going to be cold, it's going to be an early start to the day, so you want to make sure you are warmed up properly.
Absolutely.
Now, when it comes to food, I always joke and say, oh, we're going to carbo load the night before. But when is the ideal time to really up your carbs ahead of race day?
Yeah, so anything from 5 to 7 days before the race is actually when you want to start carbo loading, so to speak. But it's more about increasing your carbohydrate intake, your protein intake, and really taking up those stores in the body to prepare it for movement. It's no small feat what you're about to do. It's so exciting, but your body is going to do the most on that day. So you need to make sure that you are stocking up on those reserves so that your body can use that fuel on race day to then get you through to the finish line. So yeah, so about 5 to 7 days out is when you want to start increasing your carbohydrate and protein intake. Obviously, again, not doing too much, and don't do anything that you haven't done before. So if your body is not used to eating a whole plate of pasta, then don't do that. It's not going to be good for you on race day.
Yeah. I mean, that is the key. Don't do anything new.
Exactly.
If you are used to eating your thing in the morning ahead of your long runs, stick to what you know and works for you. Now, I know a lot of runners in my life, and sometimes they are so excited they start too strong or they don't pace themselves. What are perhaps some of those key mistakes runners can do, especially if they're about to take on that mammoth task of running 56 kilometers or even doing the half, running 21 kilometers?
Yeah, so I think the mistakes happen from the night before race day. So make sure that you have everything prepped out the night before. You've laid everything out. You've taken your picture for Instagram, whatever it is to get you excited.
Pinned your race number to your shirt.
Race number, exactly. You don't want to leave anything for the morning of, because you want to wake up feeling prepared, feeling excited, having that nervous energy, but not panic energy. So prep everything the night before. That includes all your nutrition. So whatever gels or etc. that you're using, nothing new, but whatever you've trained to do. And then, yeah, during the race, you don't want to go out too fast, but I think it comes down to planning. So if you don't plan, then you're planning to fail, essentially, as the old saying goes. So make sure that you have planned for your pacing strategy. You know where the hills are, you know what to expect, you know where the water points are so that you can fuel correctly en route. So it all really comes down to preparation for the race. And then, yeah, listening to your body is a very important one. So if sometimes things go wrong that are out of your control, and if your body says, not today, then listen to it. So adjusting your pacing strategy as you go throughout the race and listening to your body. And then, yeah, I think the main thing is just to have fun, hey?
And enjoy it. It's one of the most beautiful runs you'll do.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do on race day that you haven't already prepped for. So there's nothing new that's going to happen. So if you just go out there, zero worries, enjoy it, have fun, take some photos if you can, then yeah, that'll be okay.
And I mean, I remember doing my first ever race, and I think if it is your first time, you know, do it to complete, not to compete for a specific time. See how your body adjusts, especially if you're tackling the 56 for the very first time. But Caitlin, thank you for joining us today. I believe this is not the end for you, because we've got a little bit of a fitness routine that we're going to throw Caitlin in with the guys.
Oh, thank you so much. So informative. Thank you so much, Caitlin. I'm going to call her along here to put her money where her mouth is. We know that gearing up for any of the big races, but especially the upcoming Two Oceans Marathon. Where staying fit is obviously crucial for those runners. Tackling the half or the full marathon, you're going to put your body through the most. And we've got the pleasure of having one of our favorite runners in the world, Calvin Valentino, in studio, who is going to be giving you a guide through some of the essential fitness, those strengthening techniques to prepare for the exciting weekend ahead. If you haven't done any training, this isn't going to get you across the line. This is that fine-tuning, the core of what you need to focus on when you're running. Caitlin, thank you so much for sticking around to do this. I'm sure at this stage of the build-up to the race, you're like, I will do anything that I need to prepare my body, because it is an undertaking. There is something about the running, and in my own kind of recovery journey, getting my body back, I miss being out on the open road. There is something about that joy that you can get, but you've got to be strong enough to do it. So I'm going to take a seat. Sometimes you've got to take a seat to take a stand. And I'm going to ask you please to take us through, and Caitlin will help you demonstrate some of those strengthening or those fitness exercises that we got to have bedded down to get the core right.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get started on our mats. Once again, when you are in race week, you want to prime the body, so you don't want to overexert yourself. Also, you don't want to rest too much. So we're going to be on our left side here. So we're going to prime the glutes for this exercise. We're going to kick our right leg forward and our left leg a little bit back. And then we're going to lift up the right foot. And then we're going to try to dig the toes down for me. Heel up, toe down, lift it, bring it down. Lift it and bring it down. And this really targets the glute, gives you that glute activation. When you're running, glutes is one of the major muscles that supports you while running. So we want to have those activated. And then we can come back on our backs.
When you talk about a muscle being activated like that, and we know that the glute is one of those powerhouse muscles that kind of drives the system forward. What are we doing when we activate a muscle? What is that notion?
It's just really squeezing and sending the signals into the nerves and into the glutes. Squeezing, so when you squeeze the glutes, should always feel like you are flexing your bicep. Yeah.
Okay, so it's that mind-body connection.
Yeah, so I had a little bit of a problem last week. So my right glute wasn't activating as much while running. So it went into my ITB. So this really got painful and sore. And then I just did a few of these exercises that we're showing now, and my glute kicked in and it fired up.
That's crazy. I love it. Otherwise, that's to avoid the hour and a half of rolling with your master of pain. Brilliant. Don't let me slow you down, man. Yeah.
The next one is going to be a nice and simple one. It's going to be a glute bridge. So we're going to lift up the hips, relax the head. We're going to lift up the toes and kick into the heels here, and you're just going to bring it down, tap the floor with the glutes, squeeze the glute as hard as you can at the top and roll to the back of the neck, bring it down, touch, and bring it up. So as much as you're doing both glutes at the same time, you want to do individual ones as well. So we're going to kick the right leg forward and then lift up, squeezing the inner thighs together, touch to lift up. So this really targets the left glute here, and it adds more weight onto that left glute as well.
Absolutely love the stabilizing that comes into this as well, because there is not a moment where you're not engaging that core.
Exactly.
And getting that balance right. I absolutely love that.
And that also focus on the hamstrings as well, which is also what you want to prime. Hamstrings, calves, your entire body actually. So our last one is going to be a half pigeon, which is really important. It's a more mobility stretch one. So the right knee is going to be in front, in between the hands, and we're going to lift up the chest here, squeeze the glutes, and we're going to dip the body weight into the right hip, a little bit into the right hip. And if your foot is not off towards the left as much as you can, just make sure it's not underneath the thighs, but see if you can bring it as high as possible. Lift. You want to get nice and heavy through the chest here. If you want to take it one step further, are you going to join me?
I'm going to join you.
I'm waiting to see if one can, yeah.
We're going to reach the right hand back to catch the left foot.
Okay,
There we go, a little bit of a quad stretch there.
Wow.
So you're getting the hip mobility, hip stretch, hip, and then the quad stretch on the left, and a bit of hip flexor here as well.
I was going to say, because these are so vital. If you think of how you feel when you wake up the next day, those hip flexors, any of the muscles that work around, like the sciatic nerve, for instance, if you've got a little niggle there, those muscles in the glutes are so strong, they will literally crush that. I love this, where you're separating those muscles, just kind of opening up that route.
Targeting them.
That is flexible, my friend, absolutely flexible. In that final build-up to the race, what is most important? If a runner has to keep something in their mind in terms of their conditioning, because you don't want to push your body too hard, what is that final, that run-in, excuse the pun, advice that you would have?
Race week advice, like I said in the beginning, don't exert yourself too much. You want to do a few short runs, like 1 or 2 short runs, close to race day pace, but not over race day pace, but short runs, just to keep a little bit of tension in the muscle. You don't want no tension in the muscle. You don't want to rest too much and then lose your fitness.
For sure.
So you got to keep your body prime, keep a little bit of tension so that come race day, your body still knows that pace, still has that energy. You're still in that zone, in your optimal zone to perform, to run. 21 kilometers if you're doing the half, 56 if you're doing the full.
And then just go and smash it. Just go and crush it. Caitlin, thank you so much for sticking around. We absolutely love you. The advice from both of you, invaluable. Just enjoy it. The route is spectacular. You won't even notice that you're running for half of the race, but when that crunch time kicks in, when you need the help, you've got your community, your brothers and sisters around you to help you get through it. So make sure that you connect with the runners around you. You keep your head in the right space. I think this final build-up preparation is more about the mental focus and getting that race down in your head than it is about the body. But make sure you look after your beautiful body as you prepare for what will probably be one of the coolest moments of your life. Then just go out there and crush it.
Oh man, all the best to each and every one of the people who are actually preparing for that marathon. We are behind you. You can do it. Go and grab that medal, my love. Right now, though, we are preparing for a couple of things that are on the way. And that is all in the name of us 100% making sure that we have a little bit of comfort food. Because when we are talking about the fact that the rain is raining, and the wind is winding, it's just cold all over South Africa. So that is why I call it comfort food, because we have got sumac chicken on the way, along with a little bit of naan, a recipe you never knew you needed. That's what I always call it, because trust me, my love, you need it indeed. And then I had promised you that Miss Gabs was going to be performing, and that in itself is going to be delicious as well. So make sure you stick around for it right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show as we take a short break to get you ready for it. Don't go anywhere.
We're in Zanzibar for Tropical Island of Treasure. Are you? Did you just swim here from South Africa? There's an easier way to find fame and your share of a smooth R1 million fortune. Simply upload your audition to social media, explain why you're a match for our celebs. Add the hashtag Tropica and tag @MyTropica, and we could see you in Zanzibar. Buy a Tropica now and enter to be on the island.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3, and get ready to savor a dish that captures the essence of Eid in every single bite. A tangy sumac-infused chicken served on a bed of caramelized onions and pillowy soft naan. It's perfect for families to share this Eid, and here to get us into the mood of celebration is content creator and food enthusiast Fazine, also known as Zini_online. Now, it's so great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I know being on live TV is always very different from, you know, the videos that you get to create and post, but we're going to have a lot of fun today. Now, firstly, I would love to know, Zini_, the type of content you like to post. What exactly do you like to post?
So I like to post food content, recipes. I also like vlogs. Yeah, just a bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Yes. So we're going to start off with our caramelization of the onion. So you're going in with our spices.
Yes, so I'm adding some cumin and paprika. Sumac, sorry.
Sumac, yes.
And then cumin and coriander, allspice. And then we have some cinnamon and nutmeg.
All these beautiful rich aromas going in, yes. And that we're going to use to caramelize our onions.
Yes.
Now, where did your love for cooking stem from?
So my sister is a chef.
Okay.
So I feel like she inspired me. I don't really like being in the kitchen. I don't think I should be saying that. But
do you like the eating part? Can I help you there with the caramelization? I'll take care of that for you. Fantastic.
Okay.
So your sister inspired you?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, while you're caramelizing the onions, I'm going to start on marinating the chicken.
Okay.
So we're going to add some garlic and then a pinch of salt.
Yes.
And some allspice.
Fantastic. Well, if you are trying to remember all the spices that we are using right now and wondering about the quantities, we do have this recipe available for you. It's on our website, expressoshow.com. You'll get the list of ingredients, the quantities, everything you need to be able to make yourself some delicious sumac chicken that we are making for you right now. So you went in with a little bit of lemon juice and some oil.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So I'm just going to mix this all together.
Fantastic. Can I ask you to pass me that water next to you?
Sure.
Just going to go in with a little bit of water. Now, what are your go-to dishes for iftar?
So for iftar, I feel like Ramadan, I don't eat a lot that much.
Okay.
But what I have to have is a spring roll. A savory I have to have. I love spring rolls. I'm obsessed with spring rolls. I have this thing where I ask myself anything if it can spring roll.
Oh, okay.
So I even tried a butter chicken spring roll, and that was delicious.
That sounds delicious.
And for a dessert spring roll, I tried a Nutella and banana.
Oh,
you have to try it.
Winning combination. I would add some marshmallows, mini marshmallows in there. Now, when you make your spring rolls, do you deep fry them or you air fry them?
I deep fry them.
Okay.
I love the
They have to be deep fried.
Yes,
There's just certain things that the air fryer can be saved for the healthy alternatives.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. So now we've got our chicken marinated.
And now I'm just going to layer them in a oven dish. And once they are done, I'm going to pop them in the oven.
Okay, so
on
we're going to
180.
Pop that into the oven at 180 for about 40 to 45 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I love that this can become a one-pot type of dish where you don't have to have or use too many different components. We've caramelized our onions here. It needs to go a little bit more. We've got our chicken ready to go into the oven, and we are ready to serve our caramelized onions on top of our cooked chicken. And we can also pair it with some beautiful naan bread, which is
anything, or roti, or even rice if you like.
Rice, roti. I love that you get to customize this. Now, how is prep in your household coming along for Eid?
In my household, we always last minute.
Okay.
So it's always a rush the day before, but I feel like we get things done.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So
Is it a case of the whole family needs to get involved, or is it pretty much the ladies that take care of all the cooking?
Just the ladies.
Just
My
the ladies.
brothers are too lazy.
Okay. Well, I always find that whenever there's a chef in the family, there's always pressure that that individual needs to do all the cooking. But you love doing cooking yourself. So do you and your sister share the cooking, or does she take charge of the cooking?
She takes charge. She's the perfectionist. So
Okay.
I feel like if I have to put my hands in, it won't be anything compared to hers. So I'd rather step back and I'd rather just enjoy your meals.
Oh, and then will you be trying to bring any spring rolls to the table?
Yes, dessert spring rolls. I have to.
You have to. Oh, I absolutely love that. Well, do stay up to date, and you can follow her at Zini_. And if you want to get your hands on this delicious recipe that we've just made today, that is also available on our website, expressoshow.com.
It is one of the most beautiful things that I love about this show is that we get to have recipes together that are absolutely delicious. Expressoshow.com should be your go-to by now, yeah? For now, though, we are getting into something that I've been promising all morning. We've been teasing it. And finally, the gorgeous Miss Gabs is about to blow you away with her vocals. Everybody, please put your hands together for Miss Gabs with Africa!
Nithanda ukubukwa ngento ezingenangcondo ikusasa lisekho Africa is no more. We've forgotten who we are, so let me remind you. Awusingunsundu ushaka sizali zimbogodo siyibandla kasunini nanini sihola ngabokhokho kwenzakalani ngathi asisenakhona Who's
is Miss Gabs, and honey, she's not going anywhere, which I absolutely love. We're still getting into this Tuesday morning together, all in the name of making it sure that it is feel good indeed. For now, though, I want to tell you what else is coming up. First and foremost, it is another Eid recipe, honey bunch. Do you want a little bit of butter chicken? I know I do. We're going to be learning a bit about how we can 100% make it perfect indeed. And then we are going to be getting into a very serious conversation, which is, of course, navigating mental health and depression when you are in a relationship. All of that and a whole lot more is happening right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Do not go anywhere. We're going to take a short break.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to our Health Tuesday on a very feel-good breakfast show this morning. Hopefully you've gotten up, you've been moving, you've been motivated to get yourself moving ahead of the two oceans. And of course, we've got a few other major milestones approaching, and we'll hopefully get you prepped as well. The final hour of the show is going to be a lot of fun. We'll keep it smooth running until you enter your day. But of course, we've got some official duties, some major sporting headlines to get through. But let's start with the news.
Thank you, Graham. Well, the Western Cape government says schools in the Overberg and Cape Winelands will still be closed today due to the inclement weather and dangerous conditions. This affects 281 schools in the Cape Winelands and 84 in the Overberg district. However, schools in the Helderberg area will reopen. The Western Cape Minister of Education, David Mania, says that if schools that fall outside these districts have to be closed, each school will communicate directly with parents. Mania said storm damage was reported at 132 schools. And the Durban High Court has issued a warrant for the arrest of 2 of the 65 accused in the July 2021 riots case because they didn't provide reasons for their absence. All the accused are facing charges of terrorism and conspiracy to commit murder. The murder charges are related to the state's claim that the defendants conspired to kill Chief Justice Raymond Zondo when former President Jacob Zuma was sentenced to 15 months imprisonment for contempt of court. We now move to news beyond our own borders. 3 soldiers of the Southern African Development Community, that's SADC, force in the Democratic Republic of the Congo have been killed and 3 others wounded by a mortar bomb which exploded near their camp. The victims and wounded are Tanzanian citizens. The soldiers were deployed as part of SADC's mission in the DRC to restore peace and stability. The Southern African Region Force is aiding the DRC's government to halt worsening insecurity linked to numerous rebel groups fighting to control the country's rich mineral resources. And Nicaragua has requested the UN's highest court to halt German weapons sales in Israel. Germany is accused of breaching the UN Genocide Convention by sending military hardware to Israel. Berlin has rejected the claims and will present a defense to the International Court of Justice, known as the ICJ, today. The allegations built on a separate case brought by South Africa in January, when the judges of the ICJ ordered Israel to take every possible measure to avoid genocidal acts. The ICJ also ordered Hamas to immediately release all hostages taken from Israel during the 7th of October attacks. And Alicuri Island off Sicily's northern coast has no hotels, no roads, only donkey transportation and a big problem. The tiny mountainous island, home to some 100 residents, is facing a crisis with 6 times more goats than desired. The mayor, Ricardo Gulo, has now initiated an Adopt a Goat program, urging anyone to help relocate the surplus goats which are causing havoc by invading homes and damaging public and private spaces. Introduced by a farmer 20 years ago, these unowned goats have reproduced rapidly, and adopters are welcome to take up to 50 goats each. However, they must be prepared to corner and catch them, with a deadline extended until all goats find homes. A goat as a pet? Well, why not? Well, that's where I leave those headlines. Let's take a final look at your sport.
Now all that remains to think where we're going to put our 50 goats. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Let's start our sporting bulletin, well, with a major blow, in fact, for Everton as we focus on the Premier League, who have now handed the club a 2-point deduction for violating profitability and sustainability rules. So this comes on top of a previous 6-point penalty, leaving Everton now just 2 points away from the dreaded relegation zone at crunch time in the season. And the club, currently sitting in 16th place, has now cited the indefinite suspension of some key sponsorship deals as a contributing factor to their increased losses. A bit of a sinking ship at the moment. And that original 6-point penalty was imposed due to PSR breaches during the 2021-22 season. Now let's look at some football currently playing out, in another blow, this time for Atletico Madrid, as they'll be without their star forward, Memphis Depay, for their Champions League quarter-final first leg tie against Borussia Dortmund, and that's due to injury. So the 30-year-old Dutchman, a talismanic player for the side, suffered a muscular injury in his left leg, according to Atletico. And while the club did not specify the expected absence period, some Spanish media reports are suggesting that he could miss up to 3 weeks, and that would, of course, include the return leg in Germany on the 16th of April. Then certainly putting his hand up, well, I don't think his hand has ever gone down in the IPL. Ruturaj Gaikwad showcased his brilliance yet again as he guided the Chennai Super Kings to a remarkable 7-wicket triumph over a very strong Kolkata Knight Riders. And that was in their thrilling IPL encounter at their Chapal Stadium yesterday. So Gaikwad's composed knock of 67 of 58, including 9 boundaries, proved the instrumental one in securing that win. And this marked Gaikwad's 15th IPL half-century. Remember, we're talking about T20s here, and his highest score at Chapalk as well, so a great milestone for him. And with CSK's impressive chase of 141 in 17.4 overs, they now remain unbeaten at home this season. Then finally, we bring it back home to get back in the water as Erin Gallagher and Tatiana Smith made some impressive starts at the SA National Swimming Championships in Gqeberha. So Gallagher set a new South African record, in fact, of 25.59 seconds in the very fast 50-meter butterfly, while Smith, she won the 50-meter breaststroke event with a time of 30.09 seconds. Both swimmers showcasing some major talent and setting the tone beautifully for an exciting competition ahead. So we wish them well and congratulations all round, but that's where we leave our sports for this Tuesday morning. Let's get one last look at the roads.
Thank you, Graham. Well, let's start off with traffic in Centurion, Johannesburg. There's a stationary vehicle on the N1 northbound at Samrand Avenue. The right lane is closed. Please drive carefully and maintain a safe following distance. If you're in Bellville, Cape Town, There has been an accident on the N1 outbound at Durban Road. Expect delays and allow for more travel time. That's your traffic. Let's take a final look at your weather. And the SA Weather Service has issued a yellow level 4 warning for disruptive rain, leading to flooding of settlements, roads and low-lying bridges expected over several areas, including the Garden Route, the eastern parts of the Overberg and the Western Cape, parts of northwest Gauteng, the southern parts of Limpopo and the western parts of Mpumalanga. Moreover, a yellow level 2 warning has been issued for the Kokama, the Koga and the Sundays River local municipalities, as well as the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, predicting disruptive rain and localized flooding. Heavy downpours in Maokeng, Kroonstad have resulted in the loss of the life of a 50-year-old, highlighting the seriousness of weather conditions across much of the Free State, with predictions of more rainfall. And that's your weather update. Let's quickly take a final look at your sunrise view. Eunice Summersell from Rand Park Ridge shared this morning's sunrise view. If you would love to share yours with us, please do so on our WhatsApp line. That number is 063 408 8863. Here's a final look at your temperatures for today.
Regardless of the weather, we have proven it on the show. Big dreams do come true, just like it did for 5 National Lottery winners who won big on the Powerball and Powerball Plus over the weekend. It was an insane amount of money, and you could be joining them as the latest multi-millionaire when you play Powerball and Powerball Plus today for an 8 million rand estimated total jackpot. 8 million bucks. Come on. You got to play Powerball for an estimated 5 million and then Powerball Plus for an estimated further 3 million rand. But if you want to win, you have to actually play. I don't know, we say this every day, but please just put your hand up so you can get your tickets today in store. You can go online to nationallottery.co.za. You can go onto their mobile app. You can go onto your own banking app. Most have a drop down right there. It's super easy. Or you can just simply dial *120 *7529 hash for all the USSD. And we've posted all of those details up on our Expresso social media platform, so you've got no excuses. Just panda push up play. Come on. Powerball and Powerball Plus sitting at an 8 million rand in total estimated jackpots today, and it could be yours. Good luck. We're going to have a lot of fun and take you into a safe place for our discussion. We're going to delve into relationships and take a look at the big scary beast that is depression. What did we do when one or both of us in a relationship is going through the most? How can we support each other and pull ourselves through those dark, dark hours? We're going to delve into that. And then, of course, back into the kitchen for some light as we create something spectacular for the Eid table. Next up on the menu is a butter chicken. Look at that color. It looks just too scrumptious and delicious. We'll be putting that in the belly on the other side of this.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast show, and yes, it's Tuesday. We like to talk on various topics, including health, but also relationships. Now, we're about to dive into a relationship dilemma, and this is a bit of a scenario we'd like to paint for you.
So it's kind of just a jumping off point. So this is theoretical, but it's so our amazing guests have something to jump off from. So let's set the tone here. My girlfriend suffers from depression. I naturally tend to fall into a caretaker role, and I tend not to ask for things when I know my girlfriend is struggling. But she's been struggling for a while now. Every conversation is about her struggles. Right now, she is isolating and not responding to my texts. I am sick right now, and I just want to be taken care of. My girlfriend was at my apartment all week last week when she was sick. I definitely got it from her, and I took care of her, made her soup, gave her cold meds, made her tea, slept on the couch when she was coughing at night. Now that she is isolating and I'm here dealing with my own sickness, all I want deep down is for her to take care of me like I did for her, but I can't ask her right now. She is in a bad place, and I have tried my best to help her, but I don't know what else I can do. The one time she has responded to me, she said she doesn't want to feel better. Wow.
So now we're asking questions. How do I deal with this? What can I do? Do I just accept that sometimes things aren't reciprocated? It felt pretty uneven for a while, but when I bring up my wants and needs, she tends to get defensive. At the end of the day, I want her to be okay, and I want to be there for her, but I also want to be taken care of. Now, joining us right now to chat about this, to give their professional advice, is registered counsellor Delia Strondel and Sadia Southgate, who is a registered counsellor and psychology supervisor. Can we give them a warm welcome to that very loaded intro?
Sure, I could literally feel kind of the mental arithmetic going on around us. I'm glad we went into such granular detail with that, because it does get real. When you're caught in one of these depression loops, I'm going to call it, because it often feels like you're just repeating the same cycle over and over again, maybe it's a good place to start with practicality. So maybe, Delia, I'm going to start with you. With depression, we've got to identify it, call it out first, and then we can start the work that's required to get us across the line. But what is depression? What do those red flags look like?
So depression, I think the hard part about it is the word has become so assimilated into our everyday language that every second person is depressed. But actual depression, diagnosable depression, is a chronic low mood that lasts for the majority of the day. It lasts every day for at least 2 weeks running, and it's accompanied by a couple of other things like lapses in concentration, changes in eating habits, sleeping habits, and I think the big one is that there's a complete loss of joy.
Yeah.
I can no longer take part in the things that used to bring me joy.
Yeah.
The dopamine button don't work no more. I'm pressing it, nothing's working.
Now, we are looking at this in a relationship scenario. So perhaps, Sadia, you can shed some light. Is it possible for individuals that are in a relationship and one of the partners suffer from depression for it to still be a healthy, happy relationship?
Yes, absolutely. I do believe that once there's communication and, patience, which is a very big thing, because you need to understand where your partner's coming from, because depression is not just an easy thing, something that,
It's not a choice.
It's not a quick
It's not
fix
situational,
either.
yeah.
Yes, and it's not something that we fix today and then it's gone tomorrow. So it's definitely something just like any other relationship that can flourish and grow. That too can grow with understanding and patience, and with the help and support, not from just practitioners, but from your family members and your friends that is able to walk alongside you and understand. And once you are educated as both parties about what depression is, how you can help and support your partner through that, then most definitely you can make it work.
It's like a fitness. So I kind of think of depression as an injury. Just like you have to fix another injury, and if it's a serious injury, something that speaks to the makeup of your body, i.e. the makeup of your brain, you've got to keep working on it to balance that out. If you've got a weak knee, you keep training that knee and you strengthen it. Just by that same token, you've got to put in the work. But it's difficult when you're putting in the work for your partner and then you yourself are compromised, like our imaginary gent. Well, it might be a real person, I don't know. But there is something very difficult about taking care of others when your own cup isn't full or just empty. How do we approach that gateway?
You don't.
You can't do it.
You can't. You cannot make somebody else better. You can certainly support them. You can offer them as much love as you have capacity to give. I think that's where this dilemma or this problems really starts arising, is I give. Well, the gent gives. Partners taking, and there isn't that reciprocity. And then there's feelings of resentment, or there's feelings of lack of self-worth, and round
whatever
and
your
round
childhood
and round we
pathology
go.
is, just
Well,
boom, yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's just feed it all in there. So, you know, it then starts to spiral, and it can get really messy. But the bottom line is, he can't walk this journey for her. She's got to put in the effort. She's got to be willing. He can offer support, certainly go for counselling together.
Help to facilitate that transition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have a good environment, but he can't do the work.
Bottom line is, and I mean, I caught this on a social media meme, as most of the gems that we get these days come, but you can't make someone else happy.
Nope.
Happiness doesn't work like that. It doesn't come from an external source. Yeah.
Well, let's look at this scenario now in the sense that what is he going through now emotionally and mentally? Because here he has given his partner all the support, and in a moment where he needs some support, she's going through her own things, which it seems like he is trying to be understanding, but it's a very difficult position. I think so often in real life that is the case with someone that's perhaps undiagnosed with depression or haven't taken care of their depression. The partner is suffering from it emotionally and mentally.
He sounds depressed.
Precisely.
What is the impact on that individual?
I think, you know, psychologically and emotionally, as you said, Graham, he sounds depressed because essentially the people that we spend our time with, most times we become like them. And for him, he's also experiencing some feelings of isolation and withdrawal and a lot of self-doubt, because now what he's giving, he's not getting back. And as you were saying earlier on, how do you fill that cup? Because you can't pour from an empty cup. So essentially, his cup is empty and there's nothing left to give. And for him, he's already displaying symptoms of depression. So it's important for him to be aware of that, and if there's any challenges that he has, there's someone maybe that he can speak to about his thoughts and his feelings that is able to support him in that. And with regards to speaking to his partner about what is happening, because depression is such a sensitive topic generally, to be able to first notice what her capacity is like and find kind of that gap to be able to speak to her about what it
Get
is
her
that he
advice.
needs. Precisely.
Get her advice, get her thinking proactively in a slightly different way. And it's not about climbing the mountain. I think the most important thing to remember here is it's that first step. It's that just getting out of bed in the morning to do something could be the most powerful step that you take in this kind of journey. We know that it is a very dark place to be, and often the person who is going through the depression doesn't understand the knock-on effect of what their life is doing to those around them. But it requires those around them to take a step, otherwise it's not going to shift. That's what I've taken out of this. You have to work on it. And the joy is when you're in relationship, you can work on it together and find out the best parts of each other. So let us know what your thoughts are on this particular situation. You can head on over to our social media pages. Please weigh in if you've got any questions. We've got an amazing panel here to plug into this morning. And please drop us a spicy WhatsApp voice note, 063-408-8863. If you're currently going through something like this at the moment, if you yourself are feeling depressed, maybe your partner's been caught in that deep, dark pit for too long, take that first step with us today. We'll see you just now.
Yeah, well, you can also visit sadac.org, and we've got those details on your screen for the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, so you can reach out to them, give them a call, or visit the website. But we are taking a quick break on your Feel Good Breakfast show. When we get back, we're going to continue this conversation and really help give you the tools you need to better equip yourself if you find yourself in this situation.
And then a beautifully cooked meal makes us all feel better. And as we fast approach the Eid celebrations, just look at that, a beautiful butter chicken for your Eid table. That and a whole lot more on the way.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. You're just in time as we continue our conversation with registered counsellor Delia Strondel and Sadia Southgate, who is a registered counsellor and psychology supervisor. Now, we've been delving into the topic of depression in a relationship, how to navigate it, and how to be constructive with your partner. We also asked you on social media for your feedback. So before we get into those comments, I just feel like we need to wrap this up. Delia and Sadia, we had this scenario where the gentleman was struggling, gave his partner all the support she needed, but while she's battling with her depression, he feels unsupported in his scenario. Do you perhaps have any last minute advice for someone that finds themselves in that position?
The first thing, particular to this situation, is he's got to get well first. Okay, so he's got a cold, he's grumpy, he's not able to think clearly, there's a whole lot going on in the head other than just thoughts, so he's got to get well. Once he's well, then he can start taking maybe a step back, evaluating the relationship, evaluating why did we get together in the first place, what other dynamics exist other than me being the carer and she needing all the caregiving, and then take it from there and try and build something going forward.
Okay. And Sadia, perhaps, do you have any advice for this gentleman?
Yes, absolutely. It does sound like he loves her, because he wouldn't be as supportive and loving towards her if he didn't care for her. So it does sound like his intentions are good to be there for her. So professionally, I would say to speak to a loved one, a family member, or someone, as I mentioned, that he can trust, but also to seek professional help in terms of how he can love and support her, to educate himself around what depression is, how we can be there for her, because oftentimes we think that therapy and counseling is only there for the people that are experiencing the depression, but it's also for those that are trying to understand what it really is and how can I love and support my loved one, because essentially it does sound like she's quite trapped, but he's also kind of been entangled in that as well. So as you said earlier on, is for him to first get well. That's the most important thing, and then evaluate what the intention is and the goal is moving forward.
Okay, the goal is moving forward. Now, we painted the scenario, we left it on social media, and you came through with some comments. So let's have a look. First up was James Mentor that says, "Bra, unless she's your wife, leave her and let her family and friends help take care of her. You have no obligation to be part of her struggles. Go find the person you are looking for in a relationship and live your best life. Stop thinking you are a husband when you're just a boyfriend. When you're not happy in your relationship, just walk away. You don't owe your girlfriend nothing, and neither does she owe you anything." So obviously, James has a very, in my opinion, a selfish approach towards this relationship. Perhaps the two of you, if you'd love to weigh in on that comment. I personally find it very harsh. I don't think you just walk away the minute something bad happens in a relationship. You kind of help, especially if you love that person, you help them through it.
Absolutely.
Do you want, if you are, it is a harsh one, and he's even said there, you know, let her friends and family help. Is the boyfriend not part of the friends/family group? You know, so on the one hand, he's saying she needs the support, but just not from you. And I don't know. I think that the support is needed all round. It possibly sounds a bit one-sided though, like he's giving all the support. And maybe what we can take from this message is she can broaden that support base a bit, perhaps.
So that it doesn't all just fall on his plate. We got another comment through from Colleen LaRue saying, "I suffered from PTSD, and it wasn't for the love, support, patience, and understanding from my husband, my son, and my parents, and my family and friends. I don't know how I would have been able to cope and overcome." And again, this talks to the community. It takes your village to help you through these difficult and dark times. Perhaps, Sadia, we can end this off and hopefully on a positive note for those individuals that perhaps find themselves in a similar scenario like we've painted. How can we just leave them with something that will make them feel a little bit optimistic?
You know, you said it takes basically a village, you know, to be able to support and love that loved one, because essentially she feels trapped and that can like build a wall, not just between you and your loved ones, but even just in and around your loved ones as well. So once they are trapped inside that wall, it's very difficult to get them outside of that. And depression is and can be a very lonely journey, but with the help and support, and very important, as she said, patience, because as I mentioned, it's not a quick fix. So every day looks different, every hour looks different. So perhaps in 1 hour she may feel like, you know, her best self, and in the next hour she's not her best self. So it's important to practice that patience, but to also practice gentleness, because we don't know how she's feeling and what moments she's going through, or what exactly she's going through. So educating ourselves again about what it is that she's going through, get everybody together and kind of not necessarily have an intervention plan, but something similar to be able to be there for her, and also walk alongside her in this journey so that she doesn't feel alone.
Yeah, definitely. Well, to the both of you, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for parting your knowledge. And of course, we do have those details on our screen right now. The South African Depression and Anxiety Group, you can visit them at sadac.org, or you can call them with that number on your screen. It's 0800 567 567. That is the number for you to call.
So Eid is, yes, just around the corner. I say that with extra meaning with all those that are fasting right now and in the grips of that. I know it can get really tough around this phase. And Fazia is still here. She's also known as Zidi on TikTok. She's back to give us a little bit of inspiration on what you can serve this year. And I have a feeling it's going to be a special one. We've got the classic crowd pleaser that will, without a doubt, give guests that what they need and have them coming back for seconds and possibly thirds if there's any left, an authentic butter chicken ziti. This is probably going to be, let's be honest, on just about every Eid table, because it's a classic. We
Butter
love
chicken
it.
is a must.
The texture and the quality of the chicken, that mouthfeel, is vitally important when making a curry like this. So how do we begin the process? I see yogurt straight in.
Yes, and then we're going in with some ginger and garlic paste.
Ooh.
And turmeric. Butter chicken spice of your choice.
Ooh.
This is important.
And we are spoilt. And I know there will be very different versions of this down here in the Cape, and then kind of move closer to Durban, to another spice centre of South Africa. You're going to have different influences, but generally as a chef working in the space, or a home cook, you will have found your spice provider, that mix that you absolutely love. It is vitally important.
Can you cut some lemon for me, please?
I can cut some lemon with absolute pleasure. Are you wanting to squeeze in?
Yes, please.
There we go. Can I give it a little?
Yes, please.
I love that. Looking at your TikTok account and the kind of fun that you have with the food reviews, it feels like you've literally kind of taken yourself on an armchair trip around the world. You've experienced so much. You must have increased your knowledge base 100-fold through your culinary journey. How do you think all of these foodie experiences and reviews and everything that you've learned are going to impact your Eid table this year?
I feel like I went to many different restaurants. I've tried many different cuisines, and that's what inspired me to make different dishes. And I feel like my Eid table is going to be filled with different cuisines from all over the world.
I love that.
Because I'm very inspired to.
And it's for me, it's the heart, the emotion, the culture plays out in our food, to the point that if I go to another country, the first street, and I'll sit with them and I'll eat with them and I'll get them to explain their culture to me. That's how we learn and grow. And I think when it comes to this particular Eid, it feels like there's a lot more sharing. It feels like there's a far greater connection playing out this year. What has your experience of Ramadan been like this year?
I feel like Ramadan this year was a lot more spiritual, and
there's like a gravitas there at the moment. There's just a depth, and it feels like for the first time the world is connecting. We are a global village in that sense, and South Africa is playing a very important role in educating and connecting people to the culture, but the spirituality behind that feels so much more important.
I
So
feel like
get
Ramadan just comes when we need it the most.
Yes, I love that.
You just connect and grow spiritually, and like detox physically and spiritually. And I feel like it has brought me closer to my faith. And it just made me realize that I need to be more grateful for my blessings and for my family and friends.
For those connections, for
Yes.
sure, because the world is in a crazy, polarized, quite a dark place at the moment. So these spiritual connections, I love the fact that we've just come out of such a rich kind of, across many religions, such a spiritual time of the year, maybe just the gut check moments that we all need. Okay.
Can you lower this to me, please?
I can do whatever you need me to do, my friend. I'm there for you. I think that's about right. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so we've obviously, I would assume you'd want to marinate the chicken in the yogurt for as long as you can, obviously to break down those fibers. It really does have a fantastic effect, but I'm just smelling the aromas wafting off already. So we've got two kind of stations working here. What are you cooking on that side versus the chicken here?
So we normally put the onions in the same pot as the chicken, but to make it faster, because I love the quick sticks life.
100%,
so we're just
girl.
doing it separately, and then once the chicken is done cooking, we're gonna add them together, let it simmer and cook for about 10 minutes, and then you're ready to enjoy.
I love that. So this isn't one of those curries, because there is so much beautiful flavor in there already, and that spice mix just hits. You don't have to let it develop for 5 hours on the stove. So if you are maybe not one of those that has the luxury of spending 5 hours in the kitchen literally before, or you need a little extra something to prop it up, the butter chicken is a fantastic go-to.
Yes.
Can I just say thank you so much for standing this close to this delicious food while you yourself are fasting right now. I know it's a rare and special punishment to put you through, and it gets real at this phase, so thank you so much.
No
but I think moreover, well done for representing your culture in the way that you do, in such a modern, contemporary way, when I think, as we both identified, the world probably needs that more now than ever before. Zini, you're an absolute superstar. And hopefully this has inspired you to look at your e-table a little bit more differently. It doesn't have to be high pressure. It can be something that is this simple to put together in literally minutes, but it packs that flavor punch. Most importantly, it must bring people together around the table.
Yes. Cool.
Oh, that smells good, eh?
It does.
Oh man, the food is looking so hearty, and honestly, I told you the recipes are gonna recipe, okay? As we get through this little bit of a cold front in South Africa. But we are looking to keep a little bit warm, right? Which is why you see me in my gym gear. Friend, there is something I'm a little bit afraid of that I'm about to try here. I am going to be getting into some CrossFit, okay? We've got a gentleman here who is adamant that I'm going to do each and every one of the exercises. I'm scared, but come along with me, go and get into your gym gear, and let's get into it. And then we have got the beautiful Ayanda Tabete, who has gone out and about to try and find a way to make sure that she is elevating her skincare routine, which means that you'll hopefully be able to do exactly the same. It's all happening right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, right here on S3. Do not go anywhere.
It's my feel good breakfast show.
Oh,
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Now, we promised you loads of entertainment between now and 9 o'clock. And one of those moments is when science meets beauty, you have to be ready to elevate your skincare routine.
And someone who was definitely ready, new member of our team, Ayanda Tabete, recently got some incredible insights from leaders in dermatological beauty, thanks to L'Oreal Dermatological Beauty Division. They are the pros. So let's take a look and get all of those skincare questions answered and more.
Today is all about skin. Join me as we are equipped with insights, tips, and tricks through engaging opportunities with the top dogs in the industry. I'm talking CeraVe, La Roche-Posay, Vichy, and SkinCeuticals. Doesn't that just sound like a day made in heaven? Join me as we chat to the professionals. It is more than just skincare. It's about how you look, how you feel, and it takes a collaborative effort in order for us to reach our potential. How does it feel to connect with South African dermatologists?
It has been an amazing experience, and as an American dermatologist, connecting with my South African colleagues, learning about the culture, learning about your patient needs and consumer needs in general. So, incredible experience thus far.
When it comes to caring for your skin, seeking advice from the experts is the best solution for you to help you get instant results. As a dermatologist, what are some of the things that you would never do to your skin?
Number one, avoid any harsh products. If something has a strong smell, strong fragrance, always avoid them. If you feel something is irritating, burning, hurting your skin, always avoid them. And the most important thing is never go without your sunscreen.
This is a personal question for myself. How do I deal with an acne breakout, and how do I avoid post-acne hyperpigmentation?
So number one is don't pick at the breakouts, don't hurt the skin because that all leads to scars. Don't use any abrasive products, don't use occlusive products. So the makeup, the products that we use, be careful what you're using that's not exacerbating it. To avoid pigmentation when you get acne, again, sunscreen, 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 because when the skin is broken, the sun is going to cause a pigmentation. And then you can use very good products, use products that are known and you know that you're comfortable with.
We all want to know your secrets as dermatologists. How do you layer your skincare products?
A general rule of thumb is to look at the consistency. So you want to go from thinnest to thickest. So if we take a good morning skincare routine, it means cleansing your face. And then if you want to use a vitamin C serum, which is thinner, you would layer that, and that protects against environmental stresses as we go about our day. You would then use a moisturizer, and lastly, you're going to use a sunscreen. We have ample evidence to show that sunscreen prevents skin cancer, as well as something we call photoaging, which is sun damage that causes skin aging. In fact, we have recently published guidelines for the South African population where we're recommending daily sunscreen application, not only for prolonged outdoor sun exposure, but everyday incidental sun exposure as well. In terms of what sunscreen to go for, you want to look for a sunscreen with a minimum SPF of 30 with good UVA protection, and you need to apply it every 2 hours if you're going to be spending time outdoors.
What are some of the social media trends that are happening right now that you think have a negative effect on the way that we perceive skincare?
So this is something I'm very passionate about as a medfluencer, medical doctor. I think that the problem with social media is people see things that work for other people and they run out and they buy it and they spend all this money just to find out that it doesn't work for them. I love tailored skincare routines, and yes, you can definitely look what's out there, but when you are ready, go and see your aesthetic GP or your dermatologist and have them build a skincare routine specific to you.
I've been hearing a lot about atopic dermatitis. As a dermatologist, how do you go about treating it?
I would treat atopic dermatitis the same way I treat all my conditions, holistically, meaning that we treat not just the skin, but the individual person. So addressing factors like diet, lifestyle, quality of sleep, quality of life, as well as simple measures like how often are they bathing? Are they bathing with the right creams? Are they moisturizing enough? And are they actually using their medication? Because atopic dermatitis is a condition that does need medication and consultant dermatology care at all times.
My take home for this weekend is that education is everything, and I believe that the power of social media can really help our doctors elevate and really be strong in what they do.
Skin concerns should never hold you back, and thanks to the informative and educational discussions, they never will.
Unlocking the power of beautiful skin comes from investing the time and, yes, the dedication. Consistency is key.
Definitely. Well, listen, someone that is probably ready for her workout is the one and only Zanele. Are you ready, my girl?
Shall we?
Oh my goodness, what else can I do, Zoe? I have to be ready. This guy, he woke up early just to come and make sure that we are 100% getting in our CrossFit because, Mzansi, we're about to go on a journey. Well, I mean, it's pretty much a fitness journey that I've been on, right? But I haven't tried CrossFit just as yet. And this is why from Pack Life CrossFit, we have got Chris Lewis in the house. He is here to make sure that we are, in fact, making the fit you know, he'll tell us more. However, it is DFeet that is allowing us to get ready for this island adventure that is going to be happening, tropical island of treasure. And me as the host, I also need to be, you know, fit and be doing the things. But we all know that as much as we might like a little bit of a workout, we always need to be looking after our muscles because the aftermath can be brutal. And that's where DFeet comes in. It is the one that allows us to alleviate the tension as well as the muscle soreness that comes along. And more than anything else, it just allows us to feel a little bit better than we normally would and not need too much downtime and a quicker recovery time even. So this is why we're about to do this. Everybody, let's get into CrossFit. Hi, Chris.
Hi,
how are you? I'm good, thank you. Are you going to kill me this morning?
No, not at all, man. We're
Are you
excited
sure?
to be here and excited to take you through a bit of a workout today.
All right, it's fine, Chris, because apparently DFeet has got my back. Well, not even just my back, it's got my muscles. So let's do
muscles.
it. Yes, all the muscles. What are we going to be doing here today?
Okay, so today we're going to take you through a very typical CrossFit style workout. All right, these are some movements that we use all the time in the gym. There are 3 of them.
Okay.
I'm going to demonstrate each one for you.
Okay.
And then we're going to get straight into a workout style, which I love, which is a workout which gets easier
Okay, as it goes. Okay,
All right,
I
so
like
it's going to start a little tougher, get a bit easier as we go.
That sounds like my style.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so grab your dumbbells.
Okay.
All right. The
Thank
first
you
one,
for bringing 3 kilograms for me.
That's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. All right, so this is called a thruster. I'm going to show you what it looks like first. We're going to do a squat and then press up overhead in one movement. Okay, that's going to be your very first one, and I want you to do 5 repetitions for me.
Okay.
Try and keep our squat as upright as we possibly can. You can start as soon as you
Okay, are my legs like...
The feet can be a tiny bit wider apart.
Okay, all right.
Right?
Okay.
Keep the heels down, the knees out, and the chest up.
Okay, so must I point them out like that?
Tiny bit
just okay, perfect.
All right, so a normal squat, keeping those heels down.
Okay.
You're going to stand up and then press out overhead. One movement. Good.
You know that I was doing leg day yesterday, Chris, so this is very difficult for me.
They'll warm up as we go.
Yeah.
And the deep heater helped as well.
Come on, that
Okay,
was
that's
fun.
it. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, then we're moving over to the push-ups.
Yes.
On the push-ups, important things here. We're going to work on the side of the box. We're going to keep the elbows tucked in a little bit.
Okay.
And we're going to try and get your chest as close to the corner as we can. So it's going to look like this.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, can I tell you?
there as well.
I can't do a normal push-up like on the floor, so I will see if I can do this
This should
one.
be a little bit easier.
Okay.
Let's see how you go.
Okay. Is
I
that
believe in
correct?
you.
Thank
I believe
you.
in you.
Thank you, Chris. Is this
Okay.
correct?
Yes, that's good.
Okay.
Good starting position. Tuck those elbows in a tiny bit more.
Okay, this way, like this.
Inwards, yes. That
Okay.
way. Good. Down we go. 2, good. 3 to go. 4, beautiful job. And last one. Power. Better than doing them on the floor?
Sorry?
Better than doing them on the floor?
Way better, way better.
Okay, amazing.
I told you I can't do one.
The last exercise for today is going to be what we call a step up.
Okay.
So really good for those legs that you worked yesterday. Hopefully they'll warm up as we go along here. You're going to put your full foot onto the box.
Okay.
You're going to stand up all the way tall at the top and then take a nice step off. Nice and controlled movement.
Okay, so it's not a jump or anything?
Nothing fancy.
Ah, Chris is my best friend. Let's do
But this is going to work well.
Okay.
That's good. Then we're going to swap to the other side. Left leg up.
Oh, so we're alternating.
Beautiful. Yeah, working on the balance.
Okay.
Coordination a little bit. 3, good. 2 more for me. 4, last one. The legs look strong, man.
I'm trying,
Right,
Chris.
very
I'm
good. That's
trying.
it,
It's a
that's it.
journey.
Okay, beautiful. Now we go back to the thrusters. We that side again.
Okay.
Here we're going to do 4 repetitions.
Okay.
Okay, so we do that full squat again, and we're going to press out overhead. I want you to try to be a little bit more aggressive about the press overhead now.
Okay.
Okay?
Got you.
Same as before. The squat was beautiful.
Thank you. I'm trying, Chris. My legs are extra sore.
Try and
and
make
it's
that
my
one
fault.
movement.
Okay.
2, good. 2 more reps. 3, last one, keep those heels down. 4, beautiful, that's it. Okay, you see how it gets easier?
Just 4.
That's right. We're coming back over to the box. We've got 4 push-ups to do.
Okay.
We're gonna work this side again.
But Chris, as much as this is like one, I feel like I'm gonna be tired by the end of this.
And you're gonna be warm.
Hectic. Let's do it.
The same, okay, 4 repetitions.
Okay.
Same deal as before, elbows are tucked in. And squeeze the abs and the glutes to keep that nice plank position that you're in. 2 more. 3. Yeah, man.
No.
Look strong. 4, beautiful job.
I'm
Going to the
trying.
step
Got the
ups
step
again.
ups, yes.
Oh, we can't forget these.
I thought you were gonna forget them. It's fine.
No,
Chris.
no,
We
no,
can
you're
do-
trying to escape. There
Just a little bit. Okay.
Good. The other thing you need to know about CrossFit is that it's completely scalable to your needs, right? So if we wanted to make this harder, we could make the box higher. If we wanted to make it harder, we could also add some weights to your body, or we could make you jump.
Hectic.
Okay, we're
Okay,
back to
no
those
jumping,
thrusters.
Chris, please. Please. I don't think that's allowed on an Expresso set. You
Oh,
know what I
really?
mean? Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I've been told.
Let's go with that. Okay, so 3 repetitions now. We're getting quite close to the end here. It's getting easier as we go. And keep those heels down as you squat.
Okay, ready.
And then press out, stand up tall and press. Good. 1.
All right.
2, the legs warming up yet?
Yes. Oh, no, they're
Last
completely
one.
warm, please.
3, beautiful job.
Love it.
We're back to our push-ups. It's getting quicker now,
Yes,
right?
it is. It is indeed.
Kind of into the
I
home
can
stretch.
do this. I'm a CrossFit girl.
Absolutely. 2, last one.
And 3.
3, beautiful job. We turn this over.
Whew.
3 step-ups. The heart rate getting up a little bit higher now.
It definitely is. I'm getting out of
Good.
breath even. I don't know how I'm going to do my job.
3, beautiful.
Ooh.
Okay, 2
All right.
thrusters.
Chris,
Talk to me.
we're going to continue with this, but we do need to jump back to Cape Town. However, of course, we know that we need a little bit of deep heat in us.
Of course.
Yes, so you've got a little something for me over there.
I do indeed.
Yes.
Great way to help the muscles recover.
Yes.
So this is the cooling gel.
I love
And you're
that.
gonna rub that in.
Yes.
Really help
And I
with
can feel
muscle
it.
recovery.
I can feel it. Those things. and
push-ups
those- Yeah.
and the thrusters.
It's a lot going on. However, thank you so much, Chris.
Absolute pleasure. You did so
Can I
well.
come for like a full session sometimes? Since you're saying I did well.
Of course. We'll prepare you for our island adventure.
That's what I'm talking about. We're going to be ready, okay, everyone? And Chris, can I ask you, you use deep heat?
I do, definitely.
And what does it help you with exactly?
Well, I like to use, this is the cool one. I prefer to use the hot one after a workout.
Yeah.
Actually helps to warm up my muscles and increase the blood flow to the muscles themselves, which helps in recovery, which is amazing.
I love it. For me, it's like a deep, warm hug for my muscles. And of course, Expresso family, for you as well, it can be, because you know that deep heat hasn't just got your back, it's also got your muscles, and it is all about making sure that that recovery time is not long at all, my lovely, all in the name of going and keeping fit and 100% either getting yourself ready for an island adventure like myself or even the gym. It is all that. Make sure that you're looking after your muscles the best way with deep heat. And of course, you also know that we're going to be doing more of this coming up, because it is all about the journey to the island.
Are you auditioning and getting ready for Tropica Island of Treasure? Well, don't let joint and muscular pain hold you back. Deep Heat is your go-to warm-up solution and SA's #1 choice.
Yes, and here's an extra incentive. The top 7 contestants heading to the island will each receive 10,000 Rand from Deep Heat. And remember, you can upload your audition with the hashtag Deep Heat and the hashtag Tropica and tag MyTropica.
Who knows, you could be competing in Zanzibar.
Yeah, it's time to reach your full potential.
Get Deep Heat and conquer the island.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back one last time to our Cape Town Click, and we want you to dream. We want you to dream big, because big dreams do come true, just like it did for 5 national lottery winners who won on Powerball and Powerball Plus over the weekend, and it was massive. And you could be joining that list of multimillionaires when you play Powerball and Powerball Plus today for an estimated 8 million rand in jackpots. Wow.
Oh, how incredible. Now you can play Powerball for an estimated 5 million rand and Powerball Plus for an estimated 3 million. But if you want to win, you need to play, and that means you need to buy your tickets. Now you can do so in store as well as on the nationallottery.co.za website or through the mobile app. You can also buy your tickets through cell phone banking or by simply dialing *120*7529# for USSD.
If we were a little bit too quick through all of that, don't worry. We've got all of those details on the Expresso social media pages. You can go and check them out at your leisure. But just whatever you do, find a push or play, because Powerball Plus, 8 million rand, and it could be yours. That's the total estimated jackpots. Oh, good luck.
Oh, well, listen, I feel like we all won the jackpot with today's performance. Hey, Zanele.
We're feeling good on a beautiful Tuesday morning. And of course, the queen from Mpumalanga is in the building. Everybody, for her second performance, please put your hands together. For, of course, it is our lady in waiting. Everybody, she's got Utando Reminyaka.
I can give you anything and everything on the silver platter. Uthando lwethu lunameva inhliziyo iyakhala kodwa ngibambelele yeba kukholula thando lwangempela thando lweminyaka ngihamba hamba ngizula zula ngifuna nano fana nawe kodwa kukholula yiko ngibambelele thando lwangempela thando lweminyaka. Uthando lwethu lunameva inhliziyo iyakhala kodwa ngibambelele yeba kukholula thando lwangempela thando lweminyaka ngihamba hamba ngizula zula ngifuna nano fana nawe kodwa kukholula yiko ngibambelele thando lwangempela thando lweminyaka. I could give you anything on everything on a silver platter. Insizwa ngayo, I can give you anything.
Clover cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares, adding joy and stretching our imagination. Clover cheese, perfectly crafted.
Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.